Good enough.
Okay, we are live, so everyone be on your best behavior. I'm going to hit record and let all the participants in.
Good evening, Scott.
Hey, Bob.
Good evening, Peggy.
Oh, hi, Bob. Hi, Michelle. Hi.
Ask everybody to mute yourselves if you're not on the zoning hearing board.
Jeez, how do I do that?
All right. So welcome to the Thursday, December 17th, 2020 meeting of the Upper Darby Township Zoning Hearing Board. I'm Peter Ramuso, the solicitor, and I'll turn it over to Erin McPherson, our chair.
Hello, everyone. I guess we want to talk about the application. Just wanted to let everyone know. I know you all filed your applications, but moving forward, we kind of weren't getting some of the information we needed to make our decisions. So the zoning hearing board members kind of discussed, and we created some additional information as part of a new permit application. So hopefully these hearings can go a little bit quicker because we'll have the information we need up front. So I guess moving forward, Chris McSween with the township was very helpful, and he helped create the form. And I think as of today, we're moving forward with that form for any new application. I guess.
And we also, if Madam Chair, would mind, I'd like to welcome our newest member.
Oh, yep, that's, sorry about that.
Deborah Woodard was appointed last night by council as our new alternate member. So we welcome Ms. Woodard, who's here tonight. Her camera is not working, but she is here. And I know the other members welcome her participation. She, of course, won't be voting on any applications tonight as the alternate, but she certainly will fully participate. And it's great to be up to full strength again.
Yep. Okay. I guess we want to start with our first agenda item, which is application 8-2 of 20 for the Piazza Family Limited Partnership variance for the Starbucks. Basically, we'll keep it short. But
yeah, that's correct, Madam Chair. And so we had our hearing on this last time where we completed the hearing, completed public comment, asked the parties to brief us, which they did and submitted. And I know we reviewed those briefs in executive session. So as we discussed at our last meeting, tonight the board will deliberate on the application and take whatever action they see fit. So feel free to deliberate.
Yep. So I know, do any of the zoning hearing board members have any questions for the applicant? I think the applicant is here.
I do. Are they here?
Yeah, Mr. Miller, right?
That's correct. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Mark D'Amico, who is lead counsel. It could not be here this evening, so I'm in his place.
Okay. Should I go?
Certainly.
Okay. I'm really concerned about the circulation of traffic on the site. That's my CVS, and I go there at least once a week. And if I'm coming in and there's a car coming out, one of us has to stop and let the other one turn because there isn't enough room to, unless you've got two Cooper Minis, to safely turn in and out at the same time. And this may meet all the requirements, but the fact is that two cars cannot pass each other on the turn the way it's configured. Now, on the Starbucks side, it's the same width. So I'm concerned about backups, especially once CVS opens at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I think what's going to happen is that you're going to be forcing more traffic than you anticipate onto Treaty Road. So, on the one hand, if you could take a look at that, but secondly, if you could just angle that egress on Treaty Road so that you're more or less forcing cars that are exiting to make the left. Is that something that you guys could consider?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the record is closed, and I don't believe our traffic engineer is on board. We do have a representative from the applicant, but I do not believe it's the traffic engineer. So I can only go on what is in the report that was submitted. I believe it's A8, and it as you indicated, it meets all the requirements. But I do know that I don't believe and would have an issue with if there's some reasonable conditions in order to alleviate some of those concerns, that's probably something that would certainly they'd be open to. They'd have to be specific, but given what's in the report, I think it obviously meets the requirements, and it would suggest that there's going to be flow around there. So, I can only rely on that, and I think that since it moves standards, that it wouldn't be an issue, and I think that's the testimony that's reflected in the record.
Yeah, and Mr. Miller and Ms. Wilson, it's Richard
speaking?
Orlo.
Okay.
Yeah, Richard Orlo. I'm with the Piazza Family Limited Partnership.
All right. Well, okay.
Can you spell your last name, please?
Yes, ORLOW. Yeah, I can say we wouldn't have a problem with that kind of a condition.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I guess I have a question. If I make a motion, how, Peggy, would you like to, what condition exactly would you like to be seen to be put in to that they just look at angling the exit off of Treaty Road?
Yeah, I think that would be, obviously I'm not a traffic engineer, but it looks to me like if you did that, you'd pretty much, forcing the traffic out to make a left instead of a right.
Yeah.
Said that area there where you have people trying to make a right, but they have to wait because people coming out can't go at the same time. Plus you've got the drive-through pharmacy coming down. And then you've got people trying to make a left, and the people making a right won't be able to, it's because it's the same size. And maybe this is a standard, but if you would just go and sit there for about 20 minutes, you would see two cars cannot pass each other there. So the net effect is going to be that traffic is going to be forced. People are going to start just using Treaty as the exit, the default exit. And if you could make it more difficult for people to make a right onto Treaty from there, aside from just a sign, I think that would be really, that would sell it to me.
All right. So perhaps a condition that the applicant will alter the exit onto Treaty to make it more restrictive in order to minimize the traffic onto Treaty.
The only concern how like if we make that a condition, we don't have the answer, right? So the engineer's not here to determine if that's a possibility.
True. I tried to make the language broad enough that it said what your intent was without making a specific requirement.
Okay.
Mr. McSween, are you here? I know you are. I mean, this project still has to go to land development, correct?
Yes, so there's many features of this that still have to be under review.
All right, is the traffic part of that?
Okay. So we can make a condition that they somehow further restrict the right turn
Under
onto
tree. There you go. Is that acceptable to the applicant?
I believe, Rich, if you could speak to that.
Yes, that would be fine. The language described by Mr. Musa would be satisfactory. Best efforts, minimize,
All
work
right,
with the township, all that stuff. Yeah,
and you obviously have to go through land development to get it up and running, so I'm sure the township will work with you on that.
that's fine.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion to approve application 8-2 of 20 with the standard conditions, but also the condition that the applicant work to further reduce the traffic movement, the right turn out of the exit on Treaty Road.
I'll second that.
Okay. Can I have, we'll take it for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 That's 3 ayes. Any noes? No noes. So the motion approved.
Great. And Mr. Miller, I believe you've agreed that we can issue our written opinion within 45 days of tonight. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All
All
right.
right.
Okay, we'll move on to the second application of the night, which is 10-3 of 20, the application for Miss Erica Booth for a special exemption to permit a personal home care / group home situated at 23 Oakley Road. So first I want to say thank you to Miss Booth. I know she's come back to a couple of our meetings here, and I really appreciate that she got us some additional information that we had requested at the last meeting. So we have reviewed that. Does any other zoning hearing board have any questions for Miss Booth?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, Madam Chair, this is a little different than the last one. We did get additional information. We should see if there's any public comment on this.
That's true. Yep.
So is there anybody from the public that would like to speak in favor or against this application? Raise your hand or unmute yourself, or I don't see anybody making any movement to speak. I don't see anybody's hand up. All right, so there does not seem to be any public. No one from the public would like to comment on this application.
Okay, so I'm again going to make a motion to approve application 10-3 of 20 with the standard conditions. Can I get a second?
A second?
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right, we have 3 ayes. Any noes, nays? Nope. Okay, so motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Booth.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays.
You too.
Yeah.
You too. All right, now we're getting caught. Well, we're up to November now.
Hopefully we can clear a lot of these out.
Right,
at least
Right.
get through them. We didn't get through them at all last meeting. So, I guess we have application 11-1 of 20 for Mr. I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure how to say Mr. Sang, for the variance to allow a mixed use for a property for a current auto body repairs and a special exemption to permit sales of the previously owned automobiles situated at 6378 Baltimore Avenue in Lansdowne, PA. So is Mr.
It's Mr. McCresh. So Mr. McCresh represents all of our November applicants.
Okay.
I know he's been very patient now, so I'll ask him to take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Ramuso, Ms. McPherson, members of the board. I represent Harbhajan Singh, and he's here in my office, and Sandeep Singh will probably do most of the talking as his son, who runs the business. There was one, she referred to the 6378, just to be, it's 6398 Baltimore Avenue. So
Okay.
it's almost at the end of the township as you're almost going into Yaden and Philadelphia. I think there's only one more location there. They have about 20 parking spots, and it's currently used as automobile repair. So they would need a variance to have a mixed use to add to their business the sale of used vehicles. Used vehicles are permitted by special exception in C4. And I guess I will call Sandeep Singh. I'll have him pull up his chair. You need to swear him in.
Yeah, I can swear him in. Could you raise your right hand, please?
I'm sorry?
Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Okay, could you state your name and spell it for the court reporter?
First name is Sandeep, Sandeep. Last name is Singh, Singh.
Okay, and Harbhajan Singh is, how's he related to you?
He's my father, and he's also the owner of the property.
Okay, and he's you can't see him, he's out of the picture, but I don't know if you want to, he can come around, he'll just wave. And who runs the business?
I basically run the business on his behalf.
Okay, and you have your brother also?
Yeah, my brother also works with me.
Okay, and how many employees do you have?
It's just two of us.
Two of you?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm having a little trouble hearing him. If you could just speak up a little bit.
Sure.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And how long you been located there?
It's been about almost 2 years.
2 years, okay. And how many parking spots do you have on the property?
We have 20 parking spots.
Okay. And what kind of repairs do you do?
It's just generally, basically for, passenger cars and light duty trucks.
And why would you like to add the sales of the used vehicles?
It's just that we have a lot of customers, all of our customers, we've been in with this business for about 12 years now. And we always have customers, who wants to get used cars, but they can't find really, it's really hard to trust those dealers. So, we have a long clientele and they are always looking for cars. So, I would just, want to step up a little and, start selling cars.
And the property directly next to yours is used as, what's the property directly next to you?
That is also a used cars dealership.
Okay. And are there other used car dealerships on Baltimore Pike?
There are so many of them. There's probably around 6 of them that I know of.
Okay. How many other employees do you have?
It's only me and my brother. We're just working by ourselves.
Okay.
Mostly, yes.
And I forget if I asked what your hours were.
We're from 9 to 5.
Okay. And how many days a week?
6 days a week.
Okay. Closed Sunday?
Sunday is closed, yes.
Okay. And across the street from you is?
It's a cemetery.
Cemetery. Okay. Just trying to get the picture. I think I submitted the zoning pictures and the picture of the property.
You did. Would you like those marked as exhibits?
Yes, please.
Okay, so
And I
Mark,
think I also submitted a copy of the deed.
you did.
Okay. So I'd like to have them marked and admitted.
So admitted.
And if you have any questions for the applicant or his father,
So we're clear. So currently you have an automobile repair business there.
Yes,
All right. And that's of course as of right. And you want to sell used automobiles,
Yes.
correct? All
yes,
right. And in the C4 district, that is permitted as a special exception.
okay.
Um, Mr. McSween, I know we talked about you taking a look at the property to see whether there were parking issues or how crowded it was there. Or have you had a chance to look at this property?
Had a chance to go by there. There are no parking issues and there's no crowding.
Okay. And Mr. McCresh, what did you say is next door to this?
next door is a directly next door is a used car sales lot. So we think it would be in similar to the uses in the neighborhood. I mean, actually,
Thanksgiving was nice. It was just the four of us. That month.
Ms. Walters, please.
Like Thanksgiving was just the four of us.
Ms. Walters, you got to mute.
Yeah.
Sherry Walters.
My sister-in-law was seeing the baby, but yeah, I'm even like, should we be?
Great. Thank you. Sorry about that. So you say there's a used car dealership on one side to begin with?
correct, correct.
All right. And what's on the other side of the property?
It's a place where they sell, the monuments. It's a monuments place.
Like a cemetery monument?
Yes, yes,
Okay. And then is there a cemetery itself across the street, did you say? Or
it is, yes.
Okay. All right.
I guess I have a couple questions. I know you said you had 20 parking spaces.
Right.
How many cars do you typically have there for repairs at any one time? And how many would you be selling, I guess? What's the kind of breakdown?
I think we're not gonna be, we'll be crowded if we do more than 20. So I want to stay under the limit, we basically have usually nowadays with COVID, we usually have like 3 to 4 cars a day, and it's a drop-off services, and they drop it in the morning, and by the end of the day they come pick it up.
So those cars that are being repaired, are they typically in like a repair bay where they're not?
Yes.
They have it's a small building. I hope you see it in the pictures. All the repairs are done inside that building. There are 2 or 3
2 bays, yeah.
2 bays inside the building and a small office.
Okay. Any other members have any questions? No? Okay. I guess.
Take public comment.
Yep, sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
Anybody from the public have any questions or comments?
I do.
Mr. Gwynn, I think your hand went up first.
One second, I just had to get my mic unmuted. One of the problems that this type of industry has is cars not turning over as rapidly as they anticipate. If that were the case, would you be able to move your cars off the lot and into some auto auction or something like that?
Yeah, sure. Well, we are in a fence. It's a fenced area, and even if you want to get by, the road is pretty wide. But if anybody has a problem, we can move them. It's not a problem.
I appreciate that. I just know in other areas of our township, specifically Westchester Pike, we have had auto dealers, repair shops that have had their cars dropped in the public area. And then because they didn't have lot space on their property to temporarily house the cars, and I worry that if you're going to be selling cars there, that that car turnover is not going to be as rapid as you guessed at this point in time.
He doesn't, right now, they don't use any, they don't park on the street.
We don't park on the street. No.
And they don't anticipate, and they will, I mean, you can put that in as a condition. They won't use the street for their
sales, no.
cars.
All right, that's actually a good condition. And then,
Thank you.
yeah, well, I guess that's a.
That's
sufficient-
all my comments.
Thank you, Councilman. Anybody else have public comment? I see Councilwoman Billups. Go ahead. ma'am.
Thank you. That was actually my comment too, because I drive down Baltimore Pike every single day, and Baltimore Pike is very busy, and it's a lot of car dealerships on Baltimore Pike with their area, because I've seen your shop, and you're directly across the street from the cemetery. So I'm not sure. I agree with Councilman Gwynn. Because I don't know about how big is your turnover with the cars and the auto shop? How often do you keep the cars on your lot? Yeah, I guess is my question.
We have basically cars are coming in and out every day on every daily basis, since we have inspection station as well. We're more into a body shop. So basically body shop, it takes longer. You know, it's not a 1 day or 2 day thing. So cars, you know, once they come in for body shop, they do stay in for a few days. But nothing that is like rapidly in and out, no.
Right, and that's my concern because Baltimore Pike is very busy.
Yeah,
So-
but the place where we are at is not really, there is no residential nearby, and those roads are pretty wide open. So
I know. I hear you because, like I said, I travel Baltimore Pike every single day when I go to work. So, and you had traffic going both ways. So, my concern is because you might have overflow of cars. You know, if you're saying because you have loyalty of customers that like you and they tell their friends and they tell their friends and so on and so on, if you guys do good work, right? So my concern is that you may have overflow of cars.
But the other thing is we're also working on is we're not gonna be doing repairs like we used to, because I've been doing this for like 12 years and I just want to, you know, I'm just done with it now. It's just a lot of labor going into it, but you don't make as much. So, you know, that part is we might just cut that off a little, you know. I'm probably mainly focusing on gonna be on a dealer selling cars.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So I guess if the zoning hearing board with that condition about not having cars on the street, I will be okay. I mean, I don't vote, but I would be okay about that.
I guess I have another comment to that point. Maybe it would make sense to have, can you have like this might be a question for Peter, if we put a condition that they can only have a certain amount of cars available for sale at any one time.
I was thinking that as well. I guess how many cars do you think you might have for sale? Mr. McSween, do you have any know how many parking spaces they have at this location?
I said 20.
They have 20.
20. And so, Mr. McCreesh, what do they do with the 20 slots now? Is that just cars that are being repaired, or how many do you think they'll use to have cars for sale?
I guess, how many do you think you'll have for sale? I guess he really doesn't know until
we start.
And I guess, if I may, no more than 20 cars
No.
on the lot at any time. So they could be 20 could be for sale and none being repaired, or 19
Yes,
being
but
repaired.
as I said, like I'm not gonna be so much into the repair business no more.
he wants to do more sales than repairs, but
I appreciate that, but I think if we can say, look, you can't have more cars on the lot than you have parking spots, and you can't park any on the street. I think that should alleviate everyone's concern.
that would be fine. That would be fine.
Thank you.
Do we have to consider spots for the public to come who are going to be looking at the cars?
I don't think you have to consider that. Well,
Yeah. I think you would. I mean, they're not gonna walk there. So
And
maybe,
just-
but they can park on the street, right? I mean,
No, not on Baltimore Pike. Not on
Okay,
Baltimore Pike. And just an FYI, there are a lot of car dealerships on Baltimore Pike.
Understood. It is a permitted special exception, so it is allowed under the zoning code.
I get it. I'm just saying.
Sure. Mr. Sadiq has raised his hand a few times, a member of the public. So did you want to say something?
Yes, I'm a member of the council.
Oh, councilman, I apologize. I didn't realize that. Go ahead,
This
Council.
is next to my district. I was just, what kind of license they have it? Auto repair or body shop?
It's both.
Okay. Okay, that's all I want to know. No further comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
okay, so any other questions, comments? Okay. I mean, I guess I will make, at this point, I don't have any problems with it. I will make a motion to approve application 11-1 of 20, standard with the standard conditions, in addition to a condition that there at any one time can only be 20 cars on site and that they do not use public roads for any parking. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's 3 ayes. Any noes? No. Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we will move on to the next application, which is 11-2 of 20 for the application for 7800 Westchester Pike LLC for variance for relief from Article 3, Section 301 to allow a multifamily dwelling consisting of 3 two-bedroom apartments and 1 one-bedroom apartment situated at 7800 Westchester Pike in Upper Darby.
Also, Mr. McCreesh.
Yes, good evening again. I think my clients are on Zoom and my client and an architect.
All right, well, take it away. It's your case, and then be sure to have all your witnesses sworn in, of course, by our court reporter.
Okay, this is used to be the DeVito Furniture Store. It's across the street from Pico's Restaurant, next to the new Dunkin' Donuts. It used to be the old Wawa on Westchester Pike. I drive by there all the time. The old owner came to me over 20 years ago when I first started practicing. He was trying to do something. I think it's been vacant since then. So they bought it recently, I think a year ago. They want to fix it up, and I think it's R2, and they need a variance for multiple dwelling. They do, you'll see the plans. I did submit the plans, and the architect's here to ask any questions about the plans. The plans provide for 8 spaces, 8 parking spaces off street. And by my count, they would need 7.5, because the 2-bedroom would need 2. The 1-bedrooms would need 1.5, and the efficiency. So it would be 7, and the other one would need 1 for the efficiency. So they do have the off-street parking, and I'll swear in, who's here? Felix? Is Felix Ocolo here?
Yes, Sylvester.
Yes. Sir.
Okay. And I'm here too,
Swear
Felix.
him in. And Felix, I forget the architect's name.
Otani.
And he's here also?
It look like it's not here.
And so,
I don't think it's here.
he's not here?
No, I don't see.
Who's not here? The architect?
The architect.
Well, let's proceed with who you have here and
Okay.
maybe we can track them
You want
down.
to, you want to give him the oath?
Yes, can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And can I have your
I
full
do.
name and can you spell it, please?
Full name is Sylvester Okolo, Sylvester. Last name Okolo.
Okay, Mr. Okolo, what is your relationship to 7800? I just want to get the correct name. Westchester Pike LLC.
Yeah, we are both partners. My brother and I, Felix, we are the
Okay.
owners of the LLC.
All right, and when did you buy this property?
2019.
2019.
Yes.
And what do you want to do with the property?
Well, it's a property that has been abandoned for a very long time. So we see potential, and we think we can improve that property by increasing the occupancy and fixing the property.
Okay. On the property right now, it has what used to be the furniture showroom. That's like a little one-story shed.
Yes.
What's gonna happen with that building?
That would be the parking spot. We're going to use that we're going to knock it down and use it for parking.
Okay, and will you enter on the plans, will you enter the parking? What street will you enter the parking? Westchester Pike or the side street?
Side street.
Okay, and that's, what street is that? Pennock?
Pennock, right, Pennock.
Right, okay. All right, and Mr. Amusa, they have I think you have the plans we submitted?
I do, yes, we have them.
Okay, and you have the pictures?
Yes, we have the pictures of posting and the notice of publication. Would you like those admitted into evidence?
Yes, along with the copy of the deed?
Yes, still admitted.
Okay. I don't have I guess everything's in the plans that are submitted, and I don't have any more questions for Mr. Okolo. I'm sure the board has some questions that they want to ask.
Yeah, I guess I'll start. So, I mean, you want to make, what is it, 3 2-bedrooms and one bedroom?
One studio.
I'm sorry, 1 studio?
Right.
1 studio and 3 2-bedrooms.
No, I think it's 2 2-bedroom, 1 bedroom, and 1 studio.
Okay. Okay, because the plans have 2 bedrooms.
2 2-bedrooms. No, 3. Is it okay? 3 is it 3? Okay, 3 bedrooms, right? And 1 studio.
So when you purchase the property, right now it's set up as a single family home?
No, right now it's set up as 2-family dwelling, an office in the front, and the studio is like being used as storage. So it's highly underutilized.
So it has currently it has an office and then a studio. And then what is the main residence? What is?
No, it has 1 office and 2 apartments.
Okay.
And then the area we're going to use for studio is being used for storage because it's a property that is highly underdeveloped.
Okay.
And like the attorney said, the previous owner didn't really know what to do with it. And to us, an eyesore. I think when we improve it, it will be a nice improvement on Westchester Pike.
And I guess why don't you just, since it does have multiple use right now, why are you not keeping it with the uses that it has now? Why are you asking for additional residential units where you already have multiple residential units on this site?
Yeah, there are rooms that are not utilized. They're using it for storage because I think because they didn't have the permit to improve on the entire property. So there's space on the property that is not utilized. So if we keep it the way it is, then we're going to have square footage that will just be sitting.
Right, and I guess that's my question. Why would you not use it the way that it is currently configured?
Right, because there are square footage that is not being utilized. They're just abandoned.
Well, the downstairs, the office is vacant, is that correct?
Right, it's vacant and it's not being used. It's not in use. And the area for the studio is also not in use.
The office use was for a furniture store, and the shed was, that he says has storage in it, was the showroom where they would have like samples of the furniture. But that's 25, 30 years ago. It's been, as far as I know, there's been no commercial use on that first floor for the last 30 years. There's two apartments, Mr. Okolo?
Yes.
Right, there's two old apartments upstairs, so it's not really the best use for the property, 2 apartments, and it's not feasible to get somebody in for that as office space on that first floor.
Has there been, I guess it's in poor condition, but there's been no attempt to get a commercial use out of that? Has there been an attempt to see if there's any interest?
Mr. Okolo, have you tried to get it used as a commercial spot on the first floor, or is there any?
The commercial area, the way it's configured, is not rentable. It's not rentable. It's not rentable. Either way, we still have to redo the entire property. It's not rentable. It's not configured the right way. So nobody will really want to rent it.
Can I also comment? This is Felix Okolo. The first floor.
Sorry, hey, can you be sworn in, or was he sworn in yet?
No, he wasn't. Yeah, can you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Can you spell your last name for the record, please?
Last name is Okolo, O-K-O-L-O.
And you related to Sylvester Okolo?
Yes, we are brothers.
Right. All right, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so like Sylvester was saying, the configuration of the first floor is almost impossible to be used as a commercial space because, first of all, the height of the stairs is at least 6 feet. So it's not possible for like.
You broke up there, Mr. Okolo. Can you repeat what you just said?
Yeah, so I was saying that the height of the stairs from the ground level to get to the first floor, where you have the commercial space, is physically not possible to rent it because it's just too high. So it cannot accommodate any handicapped person, And if you decide to put a ramp for that length of height, I don't know how that can be how that can happen because of the height, it's just too high. And the configuration inside is also very difficult because it has 2 levels. It has a lower level in the front of the building, and the back side is about 1 foot higher. And the stairway is right in the middle, dividing the 2 spaces. So I believe there is a drawing of the existing condition of the building now, So you can see exactly how it's laid out. So it's not really laid out to function as a commercial space, basically.
Peggy?
Right. Yeah. Could you walk us through the configuration? Like starting, is there going to be a dwelling in the basement?
No,
Okay. And then, okay, so what will be on the first floor, the second floor, the third floor? Just go floor by floor and say what you're planning to put there.
Okay, so the first floor, the front side, that will be on Westchester Park side, is going to have a bi-level 2-bedroom units. Then on the back side, we'll have a 2-bedroom units. Then on the second floor, we also have on the leftover side of the second floor, we have a 2-bedroom unit. Then the upper level will have a studio.
So the first floor is bigger than the other two floors?
That's correct. Yeah, because the very first floor is going to be bi-level, so that you're going to have a living room, kitchen, and a other room downstairs, and a 2-bedroom on another bathroom on the second floor.
Andrew, do you have any comments?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, is there any other public comments?
There are two people who signed up for public comment, Madam Chair. Is Mr. Richardson here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, sir, please go ahead. Please give us your public comment.
I'm
Please
sorry.
state your name and address for the record.
Stephen Richardson, 7 South Fairview Avenue, Upper Darby.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead. What's your comment?
The one-story shack, if you will, that held Mr. DeVita's old furniture, that's just been sitting there. What was the plan for that structure?
it's going to be knocked down and used for parking for the tenants.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So the tenants will come in on Pennock and then swing around and then park their cars.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Now, just to be clear, I'm sorry. My name is Guy Edmondson, and I'm the owner as well of 7 South Fairview Avenue. And just to be clear, you
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Did you say your last name was Ibbotson?
Edmondson, EDMONDSON. First name is Guy, GUY.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And just to be clear, you guys are talking about renovating and the existing building that is there, as opposed to tearing it down and rebuilding something. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, sir. All right. All right. And now, just so I'm not sure if the board is clear. Now, there are 2 entrances to this property. One entrance is on Westchester Pike, and then there's another entrance on Pennock Street. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Right. And so the entrance that is on Westchester Pike is going to be the 2-bedroom apartments?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. And okay. So and just understand, because I live right down the street. I'm a half a block. I'm right next to your property, because your property runs from Pennock to Fairview, correct?
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Okay. I just want to understand exactly where you are, because we are right next door to your property. So we just want to understand exactly what you're going to do with the entire property.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Edmondson. And is Ms. Bent?
That brings up a comment that I had regarding that, because they do have the entrance. Are you closing off the entrance on Westchester Pike? Because the plans, it's a little unclear if you are closing it off on the plan.
Oh, no, we are not.
So that'll just be another parking spot, or?
An exit.
Exit.
Because the parking doesn't, plan does not show that the parking lot exits onto that Westchester Pike exit.
Well, this is the thing. We have a lot of room on that property. You know, there's so much room that we can do whatever you guys want us to do. I think the most important thing is how do we make the property useful instead of allowing it to be an eyesore for so many years.
Yes, sir.
You know? It's a beautiful property with a lot of land, so we can do whatever the code allows us to do.
All right.
I have one more question. Looking at I'm looking at a picture of the property, and it looks like there's a garage on Pennock. Is that coming down?
Yes,
or-
that's coming down.
Okay,
That's going to be the entrance for the parking. One of the
Okay.
entrances, right?
all right. And then another little outbuilding, does that belong to this property too?
Yes, that's also coming down for parking.
Okay. Will you be leaving some area of landscaping?
It's a huge piece of property, and it will not be a problem to do that.
Yeah.
So there, and speak to Peggy's point, there looks like, looking at the site plan, there's another entrance off of Fairview with a garage off of Fairview. Is that also getting removed?
I think that garage might belong to the 7 South Fairview property.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he owns that.
Correct. No, I do not.
No.
Where's the property line then? Because the site plan shows that that's all one part. Parcel. So is the property line at the driveway entrance at Westchester Pike?
Do you want me to drive?
Everyone, please mute if you're not involved with this application. Thank you.
I believe it goes to Fairview, but that structure is behind his property. I believe that structure belongs to Fairview.
Here's that's the one off of Fairview.
Oh, the garage, right?
So is that being removed?
That is part of, not now. We plan to do something with the other part of the land in the future, but we don't know what we're going to do with it yet.
Oh, so that does belong to you, not to the Fairview property?
Yes, it does belong to us, yes.
So you're going to do more stuff with the land on the other side, the open space? Are you planning on building another building, or?
We might have some plans, but right now we don't know what we're going to do with that part of the land. But where in the future we might come up with some plans, because it's a very large land. The property tax is very high, so in order for us not to default, then in the future there might be a possibility of using that for something we don't know yet.
Okay.
If I may, there was a Debbie Ben-Sala who also wanted to make public comment about this application. Is she on the call? Debbie Ben-Sala, are you here? All right, I guess for some reason Ms. Ben-Sala did not tune in. I don't see her on the.
Hello.
Oh, hi,
Hello.
Ms. Ben-Sala.
Hi, yes, this is Miss Pencella. I thought I had unmuted myself. I do have some comments to make, very many, in fact, now.
I'm sorry.
I live at
I'm
8 South.
Sorry, ma'am. Yeah, you just got to say your name and address and slowly for the court reporter so she can get this now.
Sure, absolutely. My name is Debbie Ben-Sala. That's B as in boy, E-N-S-A-L-A. And I live at 8 South Pennock Avenue.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, my original concern was going to be with the parking, and I'm glad that the applicant has addressed parking in his application. But now that I hear the details, I'm even more concerned than I was previously. The garage that was cited as being on the Pennock Avenue side is right parallel to my own personal driveway that I come in and out of my property on. And this little corner here at Westchester Pike and Pennock Avenue, it's a very tricky turn there, and it's very heavy with traffic. And with those people coming in off of Westchester Pike and making a right and then making a quick right into that driveway into the property, I think it's going to be dangerous to say the least, but also there's going to be all of that traffic coming through back and forth through my, right next to my driveway. It's parallel. The two parking driveways are adjacent to each other. So I'm very, very concerned about all the traffic coming in with everything coming in as the entranceway to the parking there for the apartment complex. There's always been issues here with parking, even when it was just the 2 apartment units, because, you think you have 2 units and you have 2 people and 2 cars, but these units tend to have 3 and 4 people with cars. So we're talking about a dozen cars possibly coming in and out of there constantly, day and night. And we also have the Dunkin' Donuts, which is across the street. And those two, the Dunkin' Donuts exit and the entrance for this apartment complex, they'll be directly across from each other, which is going to be another kind of traffic nightmare for people coming in and out here on Pennock Avenue. And we also have over there, they just opened up, it's called Progress Rehabilitation Center. And all of the employees from that center park in front of my house all day long, and the Dunkin' Donuts and the Progress are blocking my driveway all day long. So I'm sure that there's going to be more traffic and more blocking of the driveway with this new apartment complex, so to speak, with all of this traffic and people coming in and out. I'm very concerned about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, based on the site plans that they're providing, I don't see how there's any circulation from the parking areas to the exit on Westchester Pike. That's not how it's laid out.
Right, and I don't have I couldn't get into the Zoom with the Zoom application, so I'm just on my telephone, so I can't see any of the plans or anything that's up. But there's also a large parking lot and a church all right here, and the traffic is just going to be tremendous. And I really think that that needs to be addressed in any further movement on this property.
All right, and Mr. McCresh, the architect is not here, right?
He's not here. I'd like to ask him, perhaps he could address that and make a separate entrance or an entrance off of Westchester Pike, but I'm not an architect or an expert in so
sorry.
So I'm not sure. Were you able to get him, Felix?
Hello?
Yeah, were you able to get the
Yeah,
architect?
this is the thing though. This property is a huge property.
I'm here.
We are not.
Wait, hold on. Too many people are talking. So,
okay.
Is the architect here?
I'm on a plane, but I'm here.
Okay, then you're right.
There's somebody else that keeps talking. I don't know who it is.
Mr. Green, the architect, is here.
Great.
I'm on a plane, but I'm here.
Great. All right. So board members, you had some questions for the architect, or Mr. McCrish, did you have questions you want to ask the architect? You've heard the concerns about traffic and.
Yes. First of all, could you introduce yourself and spell your name for the court reporter, Mr. Green?
Otanie Green. It's Otanie Green, Green.
Should I swear him in?
Yes, swear him in. Thank you. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And I want to be clear. These plans were signed by somebody named Michael T. Clark. What's your relationship?
I own the office. He's just one of the architects in my office. I'm also one of the architects. I'm the lead architect.
Okay, great. And your initials are OG, right? So throughout it says drawn OG and PM
Yes.
OG. That's you?
Yes.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
All right, Mr. Green, you're a licensed architect in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and where's your business located?
Malvern, Pennsylvania.
Okay, and did you or your office prepare these plans for 7800 Westchester Pike?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you're familiar with the property and the layout?
Yes.
All right,
Yes, sir.
have you heard the other testimony and comments, or did you just get on now?
Unfortunately, I literally just landed in Detroit. My flight's been delayed all day, and I'm sitting on a plane for a connecting flight right now. I apologize. I did not hear.
That's okay. That's okay. The next door neighbor on Pennock Avenue is mostly concerned with the parking layout and the parking plan. And to summarize what she said, I believe her property is adjacent to the back of the property. And her driveway would be parallel to where your driveway is for this property. So I guess she wanted to address, could you tell the board a little bit about the parking and the egress and the for the residents?
The first thing, we just wanted to use the existing curb cut that was off that street. So we wanted to keep the parking as close to the existing property as we possibly could. As far as the neighbor in the back, I mean, we were just going to do landscaping to, separate there's an existing fence now. We weren't planning on taking the fence down, but we were also planning on adding landscaping back there.
I'm sorry, this is Miss Bensala. I live at 8 South Pennock Avenue. And if I could just clarify, the garage that you're planning on tearing down and making that the entrance to the property, that is all parallel to my personal driveway. And I'm feeling I'm going to get a lot of traffic coming in and out of there all day long with all of the units. You could have, I think it's 4 or 5 different apartment buildings that are units that are proposed. And each one of them could have, 2 to 4 different people with different cars. And you weren't on for the other discussion and stuff, but I think it would be more efficient if you opened and widened an entrance on Westchester Pike for folks to come in and out on Westchester Pike than coming in to the Pennock Avenue as the entrance, because we're also getting all the overflow from the Dunkin' Donuts. Their exit is right there, parallel to or adjacent to your entrance for the proposed apartment units. And there's also a Progress Rehab Center there. So there's a lot of traffic in and out there. And if you come down Westchester Pike at that traffic light and you make that right onto South Pennock Avenue, you only have a few feet before you're making the right into what would be your proposed new entrance. And that is very dangerous. Even I have, trouble sometimes coming into my own driveway, and I'm a little further in. People come around that turn and they're ready to slam right into you. So I don't think that that's a good idea.
Mr. Green, is it possible to put the entrance on Westchester Pike versus Pennock, the side street?
Well, there's an existing curb cut off Westchester Pike, but I don't think it's sufficient it's only a 12-foot aisle. It's not a 2-way aisle, and I don't think at the current moment we could get any other curb cuts off Westchester Pike. If the township's willing to give us an entrance off Westchester Pike, sure, we'd take it.
Well, it would be PennDOT.
Not us.
It would be PennDOT. You would have to go to PennDOT to get a driveway entrance.
Well, you're also proposing to, I'm sorry, you're proposing to tear down the old showroom. So you would have plenty of room if that building was demolished.
Yeah, they're putting parking there. That's where the parking is. Yeah, I also have a comment. I know, Mr. Green, you had said that you were planning on putting landscaping, but it doesn't look like there's enough room in between the drive aisle and the property line to put any landscaping.
it's an existing driveway. I mean, we could spread over and come off your property. We're adhering to all the setbacks. And I think it's a neighboring setback of 25 feet. So we wouldn't put anything within that 25 feet as far as building goes. But as far as the existing driveway, we're just going to use the existing driveway. Now there's another driveway comes off of the other street. I forgot the name of the street. I don't have the plans in front of me again. There's an also
Fairview.
sorry. Yeah, there's also an existing driveway there. We could look into what it would cost to make, I mean, come off of that street. But that street, I think, is a one-way that dumps out onto Westchester Pike. I think. I'm not sure.
No, that is a two-way.
You're correct. You're correct. It is a one-way to Westchester Pike.
So either way, they'd still be coming, you know, around there to get around to go to get into the property.
So PennDOT would have to approve it if all you wanted to do was widen the existing driveway on Westchester Pike?
Yes. And for a project of, you know, it's a small, tiny project, I don't picture the cost of having to go to PennDOT to get a driveway off of Westchester Pike, which is a major, I think it is Route 3.
Well, it would be a driveway modification, so it's different than a full driveway entrance. You already have an entrance. You're just looking to
I think
modify.
they would still consider it, a curb cut, a new curb cut.
But what I'm saying is there's already an entrance there, right? So there's a greater chance that they would just modify that entrance. They wouldn't have a problem, as big of a problem as if you were putting a new driveway entrance that wasn't there. To me, it just seems like you're trying to jam a lot into the one corner of the lot. It is a very large lot. And you're just trying to put too much in that one corner. I mean, I'd agree that, I mean, 3 2-bedroom apartments and a studio is a lot for that building. And yeah, I mean, I think additional, you know, you need to look at the parking and possibly create, you know, like I said, the other entrance, maybe it's just a one-way. Maybe there's a one-way in, one-way out. If you can't modify the driveway entrance onto PennDOT or onto Westchester Pike through PennDOT. But right now they don't even connect. So you're not using that entrance at all.
You could look into coming off that other driveway, but I'm be honest with you, for a project of this size, I don't think we could even afford having to go to PennDOT. But I would have to, again, it's not my money. I'd have to speak to the clients. But we definitely could look into coming off the one way. But either way, that driveway would still be there. How would we tell our tenants not to use it? It's an existing driveway, you know?
Right. And again, not to sound arrogant, this property is a massive piece of property, and the property is zone commercial. So if we were to develop the entire property for the purpose it is designed for, if the person next door going to tell us no, we can't develop it, if we are going to develop it by right, what we're doing actually is actually good for the tenant, for the lady next door, because if we develop it by right, we're going to have commercial space. The property is entire commercial space. So by right, we could have developed it and don't even have to come to zoning board.
Mr. Acola, you're absolutely right. It's a commercial district and there's a lot you can do with it as a right, but you are coming to us for a variance and it's not a special exception. So this kind of use is not even permitted in this zoning district. You've asked us to consider a variance. We're happy to do so. So
right.
You're both right that you could do a big commercial project and not have to come to us, but you are here, so you're going to have to get
right. So we are trying to work with that to understand where we're coming from. If we don't get what we're asking for, it's going to be a bigger project. So the issue of parking will no longer be relevant when we do a bigger project. So this is a smaller project compared to what the land is zoned for.
Parking is always.
But you also said you're thinking about doing something on the other side of the property.
Well, we don't know yet because it's not something we plan to do anytime soon. We are trying to, first of all, utilize it for the purpose that it's already set up for, and by us taking a huge chunk of the land for parking, it takes away any major project that's going to come up in the future, because the parking lot that we're taking is from the major project that makes it commercial space. So it reduces any potential of doing anything big in the future.
Also, can I come in? This is Felix Sokolov. So the existing garage is actually two-car garage, right? So maybe we can, instead of having two cars parked there, we can only use one side of the garage to go in and go out, thereby giving us enough room to do landscaping or complete the fence, since hence the garage is going to be taken out. So I don't know if that will work.
So then that would be more of a buffer between your property and the property on Pennock.
Yes. Correct. Because that now, instead of having a two-car garage, which it is right now, we can utilize one side for the driving and use the other side for landscaping, and then provide privacy for the existing the next door.
All right. Is there any other public comment on this application? All right. Madam Chair, members of the board, what's your?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see some additional, I guess, look at the parking and the, like you said, maybe it's one way in on Pennock and then out on Westchester Pike, or the other way around, just to kind of limit the two-way traffic on Pennock. But yeah, take a look at the parking, take a look at, the driveway entrance, see if you can get a PennDOT opening to make that a little larger. And then, yeah, come back and see if you can work on that.
Okay, that sounds good. Mr. He'll work on a new plan for the parking, and we'll submit that. And do you want to put it on for next meeting then, or?
I was gonna say, is that giving you enough time? I don't want you to keep having to post the property and things like
Right.
that.
I guess that's up to Mr. Green. Mr. Green, how long do you think that would take?
We'll do whatever needs to get done by, what date is the next meeting and when do we have to submit?
Well, so you've submitted the application, so there's not a huge deadline. The next meeting is actually January 21st.
Make it happen.
So, I don't know, you were going to get it to the board maybe a week before so they can see it, or a few days before so they can see it. Actually, a week. If you get it by the 20th, that would be helpful. We could meet in executive session and review it. I'm sorry, the 13th.
We'll make it happen.
Okay.
No, I think you said you want before the what date?
Sorry about that. So we have, I guess, for some reason we're not meeting on the 4th. So in January, we're meeting on January 21st. And we'll likely have an executive session the week before that to discuss applications in our quasi judicial role. And
So that would be January 14th. You would want them to have it for?
I think that'd be fine. Sure.
Okay, you can do that, Mr. Green?
We'll make it happen.
Okay. All right. Thanks for your time, and he'll get the we'll get the new plans over to you and go from there.
Great. So application 11-2 of 20 is held over for additional information and review. And you'll waive any MPC deadlines until January 21st, Mr. McCreesh?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I guess we'll
Thank you.
keep moving. So So our next application is 11-3 of 20. Application for Ming Kwan Chan and Lang Chai Nguyen for the variance for Article 8, Section 801 for relief of off-street parking requirements, and Article 3, Section 301 for the use variance to allow a home business of a beauty/skincare salon in a 200 square foot first floor space situated at 3200 Ashy Way in Drexel Hill.
Right, Mr.
One
McCree.
minute. My clients are just in the next office. I'm just going to have them come
Sure.
in here.
Take your time. Yeah.
I'll be 1 minute. Thank you. Okay. You ready? All right. Have your wife sit here, and you can stand behind her.
With the cellar, yeah. There's a spray bottle and then there's some. It's plenty.
And you state your name for the record.
Minh Tran,
Could you spell it?
MINH.
Okay, could you maybe bend down so they can see you? And this is Minh Tran, and he is the owner of the property, and his wife,
Lilia
Tran.
and she is the esthetician who would like to run the home business in the basement. Do you want to swear them in?
Sure. Can you both raise your right hands, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and I believe I submitted a one-page plan of the basement.
You did. I'm gonna mark that as an exhibit.
Yes.
So marked.
The deed.
We'll accept that as an exhibit, so marked.
And the pictures.
Yes, we got those pictures. So
Okay.
they can be marked as an exhibit.
You can say it's a very small basement. It's maybe 200 square feet. I don't know if it's even that. She has a small bathroom. This wouldn't be this would only be by appointment because she's only by herself. So it won't be any drive up customers or anything like that. She is a licensed. How long you been licensed?
2003.
2003. And what type of business would you be running there?
Skincare.
Skincare? Okay. Can they hear her? Or she's a little.
Yeah, if she could just speak up, maybe get a little bit closer to the microphone.
Get a little close. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay.
will do facial.
What was that, ma'am?
I do facial.
Facials. Anything else?
Just facial.
Okay. And what kind of license do you have?
Esthetician.
That's just, okay. And how long have you been licensed?
2003.
Okay. And where did you used to work?
Where do I use store?
Well, did you?
The last time I worked for Anthony Vinnell Spa.
And where is that?
Ardmore.
Ardmore?
Yeah.
Say that
Okay.
again. So can you say the name of that business again?
Anthony Vince.
Anthony Vinyl Spa in Ardmore.
in Ardmore.
Yes, that is the last time I worked there.
She worked at a spot. And now how many days? And now you want to have a small place in your basement, okay?
Yeah, I do 5 days.
How much,
5 days.
you want to work 5 days a week?
Yes,
All right, and how many parking spots are there on the property?
5.
There's 5 parking spots?
Yeah.
Okay, and there's how many? There's 2 in front of the driveway?
Yeah,
And then
and then 3 in the side.
3 on the side of the property. Okay. And how do people enter the basement?
In the back door.
Around the
We have a
back.
slide door. We have a slide door.
Okay. Not off of the main, not off of Ashy. It's behind
Behind only.
behind the building. Okay. And will you have any employees?
Only me.
Only you. Okay. And what would your hours be?
I would like to do 9 to 5.
9 to 5.
9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And how many days a week?
5 days a week.
5 days. Which days?
Tuesday to Saturday.
Tuesday to Saturday.
Yes.
Okay. And it would be by appointment only?
Only appointment.
Only by appointment. Okay. I don't have any more questions for her. If the board has any questions, or be happy to entertain them.
Can I ask a question?
If it's okay with the board, we could, go ahead, Chief.
Go ahead.
So my question is how many exits, and also.
I'm
will it
sorry,
be
I just
with
need
the
your name, please.
No problem. Derek Sawyer, Fire Chief, Upper Darby Township.
Thank you.
No problem. So how many exits, and then also will it be equipped with the proper exit doors?
Yes, 1 exit right now.
Now, is the only way to get in and out the sliding door, or can you get out through the garage also?
I can get
Yeah,
out.
we have that. Two
Two
door.
door.
2 door in the front and in the back.
The garage door.
It goes through to the garage, which is on the first floor. So I guess in an emergency, they could get out
The garage door. In the front door.
the garage door.
So in case of a fire, right, you have to have the proper exit door. So all doors have the exit going out. So we have to make sure that they have the proper exit doors.
Yes, we will have that.
We will have that.
Okay, I guess I'll start with some questions I have. It looks from the pictures that you've actually already created this without I guess what happened is, did you have some sort of an inspection that they found that you were operating a business without the proper permits? Is that what happened?
Just order the equipment and make sure the rating, but if not.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Can you speak up or maybe get a little closer?
We just order all the new equipment and try to set it up. But, if it's not, we're gonna, just rent a place and open a salon.
He ordered the equipment and put it in there, but they have not been, they haven't been open. Is that what you're
We never
saying?
do anything
No,
yet.
not yet.
We did not start the business yet.
And I guess why are you looking to put it in your residence as opposed to having a actual commercial site?
See, right now, the COVID and all that, the customer is not that much. So we try, to work at home, so save us the rent and all that.
I think they're not sure how much business they'll do. It's kind of like a side business, and it's not going to be a full-time thing. She's going to be doing by appointments only. So it wouldn't be cost effective maybe for one person to have her own shop and pay rent. But if she could do a certain amount of people a week in her home, it would make sense.
Yes.
So I guess, I mean, you owned the property for a number of years and then you decided to do this business. You know, it's really not set up as a commercial site, I guess. You know, there are places where they have the mixed use, sort of like the, you know, project we had just before you. And they couldn't use that, or they said they couldn't use that, but now we're looking to have a mixed commercial and residential use. So it's kind of somewhat interesting that one property said that they couldn't, and now you're looking to do the same thing that they didn't want to do before. So I guess, I mean, that's really my biggest concern is it's really not a commercial area. Those homes on Ashy are, you know, it's really like a cul-de-sac road. It looks fairly new. I don't know when it was built, but it's of different age, I guess, than the other homes around it. So they weren't really set up for commercial use on the first floor. Anybody else on the board have comments?
Yeah, I have a question. You said that you have 2 parking spots in the front and then you have more on the side. Are you or have you paved the lawn on the side of your house to create parking?
Yes.
So there wouldn't be parking on Shadeland, it's all on your property.
It's on Shadeland, yes.
No, it's on his property, not on Shadeland, right?
Guys, just to confirm, there's not parking on that section of Shadeland at all, right?
No, there isn't. There is not.
Yeah. I didn't think so.
No.
In my driveway.
Right, no, you cannot park on Shadeland. There's not, you would block the street. When I visited them, I do,
Driveway only.
I had to park in the driveway. There's no spot to park on Shadeland.
But they do have a parking area on that side, on the Shadeland side of the house.
Correct. Between, I think you see in the pictures, there's some bushes that's on Shadeland, and behind the bushes is where the parking is on the side of the house.
Okay.
I guess any other board member have comments now? Open it up. Does any public comment, question?
Nobody signed up for this application. Have you talked to your neighbors?
Yes. All they happy to that. They say it just the skincare is very not noisy. Like if you do a restaurant, they not allowed. Yeah, they told me that.
The neighbor, they all support us.
Yeah, they support us.
You don't have that support in writing or anything, do you?
We have it last year.
What do you mean you have it last year?
No, they didn't. No.
Okay.
I can get up tomorrow.
I'm not sure. I heard you say you had it last year.
Yes.
Correct you. We don't do the driveway yet.
They previously applied and they had no parking on the side. So I think they were turned down because they had no parking. So we put in the parking to alleviate that problem. And I didn't represent them then, and but I guess they had people support it back then.
All neighbor, they know.
How many people would you serve at one time?
Only one.
Just the one? Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, there's not going to be any employees, and she would put that in. If you did approve it, that would be agreeable to any proviso that it would have to be by appointment only, to be,
Okay.
and only one person at a time. They're not gonna have people, there's no, you can say there's no like waiting room or anything like that, so.
Yeah.
They really couldn't do it anyway, and they couldn't take in like drive up or anything like that.
And I apologize just because I had to step out for a moment, but signage, is this covered?
Yeah, we were allowed to discuss signage. I don't
Is
think
there
we-
any signage you're proposing?
Yeah.
Are you gonna put a sign up, or do you need a sign, or would?
I need a sign,
Small sign.
maybe with a small sign to the people to know.
I guess you said a small sign, just I guess, so people would know where to go, and have her name on it. I guess it won't be anything, it won't be a big freestanding
No.
sign, it would be on the
In my
building.
house, get in my house.
You know, maybe the awning.
So panel up against the home?
Maybe the awning.
Yeah, up against
The
up
window.
against.
On the awning, okay.
Mhm.
On the
But
window.
what hours would you operate?
I love to do 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay.
And I think she said 5 days a week. She was,
Tuesday through Saturday, right?
right.
Now, can I ask, what's the process from here so that order, like say we okay this, there's some things that have to be done, like the egress doors and the, and the egress that, I'm sorry, our new fire chief, whose name I can't remember, had talked about. Is there a step in the process where someone investigates, like inspects and makes sure that that's done?
Chief Sawyer, you still here?
Yeah, so, yeah, either us or L&I would have to go out and inspect it, and they should get, we should do that inspection prior to issuing a permit to do the business. So, yes, there would be an inspection prior to them receiving the permit.
Any members of council have any public comment on this application? Chief Sawyer, do you think it could be made to meet the fire requirements? I mean, do they need like an extra door on the
So I would
side?
have to go and do the research to see how many exits you are required for that much square footage. But even if it was only one exit required, you still have to have egress doors that egress out if there's a fire, because it's a business.
Mhm.
So-
Single motion?
So I guess they said they have sliders. Would that does not count? So
No.
we need to use that.
You gotta have panic, you have to have what you call a panic push bar. So when someone's trying to exit, they push the bar and they can get out easily. A sliding door can be locked and people panic. You have people that have fire deaths because people want to get stuck at the door trying to get out in an emergency.
Councilman Siddiq, I saw you raise your hand. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, I would like to add that my understanding that they did a
Sorry, whoever is on the cell phone, could you please mute yourself?
I was trying to understand that so far the conversation is going on. My understanding is, I think they did apply previously and it was rejected. And do you have a record why this thing get rejected? What's the reason?
Yeah, that's the first I've heard of this as well. Apparently it was rejected because they didn't have sufficient parking. So it sounds like now they've tried to they did pave over something to give themselves adequate parking.
When they applied, how many years?
Mr. McCresh, do you know?
I have a copy of the decision. It was 11-6 of 19. No, it was rendered November 21st, 2019. And like I said, I didn't represent them. I think they did it themselves. So all I know is what they told me, that he didn't have the parking and that was a concern. So he decided to put in the parking and try to come back and try again.
Okay, that's good enough. Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we want to vote on it. I mean, I personally don't think that it fits in with the character of the neighborhood. It's not intended to be a commercial property. It is a residence. I mean, I don't see it. It doesn't fit in with that character, I guess.
I agree with that. I know Ashley Way quite well. There are a couple businesses across Lansdowne, Shadeland Road and in the vicinity, and I certainly wouldn't want to interfere with an Upper Darby business. And I'm glad and I understand that this is a small number of people, but I have concerns about the not fitting into the character of the neighborhood, and I would like to see some input from neighbors. I think in this case, just because it's so secluded, it's sort of a unique street, even in its vicinity.
I mean, it depends on what the board would like to do. We could hold it over to get written feedback from the neighbors for our next meeting. If you think that'll make a difference, good.
I mean, if that's what you want to see, Andrew, I don't mind that, but I
Okay.
mean, people don't necessarily.
Can I ask the other members, I mean, do you have concerns that go beyond that? Anything else you'd like to see? I mean, Peggy or Aaron?
I guess I kind of agree with Aaron that this is it's a residential area. And I don't know that having pro-public comment is going to make a difference.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if it was, I mean, there are residents in the township that have this kind of multi-use commercial residential mixture. This is not one of them. You know, if you wanted that type.
Yeah. And I think you would be cognizant that if we approve this, you know, what do we say to someone who comes in and it's like not as, you know, I just think we don't want to go through the door.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, okay, so I mean, I'm gonna make a motion to deny application 11-3 of 20. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, take a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Unfortunately, we denied this application.
We understand. Thank you for your time.
Sure. You'll have a written decision within the MPC deadlines, and I'm sure you understand how to appeal, Mr. McCreary. So
Yes, thank you.
sure.
All right, so we will keep moving, moving a little bit better than our last meeting. So hopefully we can clear some of these out. We have application, thank you, 11-4 of 20. The application for the Burmese Buddhist Association of Philadelphia for a variance to permit mixed use as residence for a monk and the use of a 700 square foot first floor religious assembly at 301 Maple Avenue, Drexel Hill.
Great.
Yes,
Mr. McCreary, you're up yet again.
1 minute, and I'll just grab I have one witness here and one witness is on Zoom, Mr. Swin, Co-Swin.
Okay. And we do have several people who have signed up for public comment, and we've received a petition in opposition to this application, which we'll add as an exhibit to the record. And once the applicant concludes his presentation, then I'll be sure to reach everybody who's signed up for public comment.
You're welcome. Oh. All right, thanks. Thank you. Here, sit down here. All right, this is 301 Maple Avenue. and it's almost on the, it backs into Marshall Road.
Yeah, the corner of Marshall.
It's on the corner of Marshall Road and Maple Avenue. And I have, could you state your name and spell it for the record?
My name is George Chin, Georgechin.
All right. And what's your position at the Burmese Buddhist Association?
I'm one of the members.
Are you one of the board members?
Yes, one of the board members.
You're one of the board members. And
Sorry, should I swear him in?
yes.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Owen. I appreciate you paying
Yep.
attention.
Can you raise your right hand, please? The witness, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, and I think I also have his co-swin here. Is he on Zoom, Mr. Swin?
Yes, I'm in.
Okay,
I can hear me.
he's also a board member. I'd like to have him sworn in.
Okay, could you raise your right hand, please? Do you
Yes.
swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And I believe I submitted the copy of the deed
Yes,
and pictures.
correct.
And did he have a parking layout too, I think?
I believe you did submit that last time. So we'll admit all that as evidence. Go ahead.
Okay, and George, I didn't know too much about the Buddhists, but could you explain what happens with the assembly?
The Buddhist is like we had like a celebration 4 times a year, but we not like churches. We don't go to church like every Sunday or every week. We don't do that. There's also that the monks cannot live with any other people. So monk has to live in a temple, and also monk cannot cook. So we have to provide food every single day. This is a Buddhist. But most of the time we use it sometimes people want to relax. They just go to the temple for meditation. That's what they do.
And can you walk them through have you made any physical changes to the property?
No, we did not. Only I support the beams for the deck. That's all we do. Nothing changed.
Okay, and so it's just a regular
residence.
Regular residence, and the monk lives there?
Yes.
Okay, and you say, how many parking spots do you have?
We can fit in the back, we can fit 12, and then also if we get zoning on the front drive, we didn't have any driveway from front. We can fit another 5 cars, total 17.
All right, and these cars enter off of Marshall?
Yes, right on our properties.
Okay. How many people do you have? How many people would come every day?
Not every day, maybe once a week or like every twice a week. People like 2-3 people show up for the providing food for the months. And then also we might have like a big celebration. Means like we only have like a 25 family or 30 family living in Philadelphia, the surrounding area. Not too many people, and it's like a full celebration. There's like around October, April. April is like they call water festival, but we cannot play with the water. So sometimes we celebrate to like a summertime, July. And also another celebration might have like November. That's it.
And how many people come to the celebration?
Maybe 50, 60, not at this one time. People are in and out, they pray and then they leave. The celebration start between 10:30 and 2 p.m. That's all.
What day of the week are these celebrations?
Most of the time on Sunday.
Most of the time on Sunday. Okay. And Mr. Swin, you're on the line also?
Yes.
Yes.
Please, sorry, state your name and address and get sworn in by the court reporter.
Oh, I thought he was. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
Oh, you
sworn
were
him
sworn?
already.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay. And Mr. Swin, what is your position at the Burmese?
I'm also one of the board member.
You're also a board member.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I don't think I have his last name.
Oh, Carl Swin, SWIN.
Thanks.
All right. And you heard George's testimony?
Yes.
All right. Was there anything you wanted to add to that about the assembly, about the services?
No, I mean, just like George said, we barely, I mean, like most of, the time that we have a temple is just for, people pass away. I mean, it's just like the family member will be there, just at the time. If they just, like to pray with the mom. And we will just use the small living room that is, as you see, John, I mean, if there's a few people, like the family member, like 3 or 4 people, a family member, they just pray with the mom. That's about it. But we do like the full, the big celebration a whole year. That's about it. But it's not all, constantly at the same time. We try to maintain like all throughout. And we didn't even do anything this year because of the COVID, protocol and everything that started out. So
it's not like a Catholic service or a Jewish service where everybody comes together at one time.
No, it's not. We don't do that, and we don't have like the weekly, like the service thing. No, we don't.
Okay. How long do the people usually stay if they go to pray or whatever?
Well, probably like 1 to 2 hours. That's his max. And people just the monk will give a speech. They solve sometimes they offer food and donation to the monk, and monk will give up the the speech, and probably like the hour to 2 hours to stop, and they leave.
Okay, I don't have any other questions for the witness. I'm sure the board has some questions.
Well, real quick, Mr. McCready, so this is a house, correct?
Correct.
In a residential district, and you need zoning relief for the monk to live there, or you just need the relief for the religious assembly on the first floor?
I think we just need the relief for the religion. Right. I mean, he's allowed to live there. He's
right.
Yeah. Right. It's just for the relief to have the religious assembly on the first floor.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
They won't go on the second floor. The second floor is his residence. They're not allowed to go up there.
Okay, I mean, I have a bunch of questions, I guess. Again, I have concerns with this being very residential area. When I heard you say that, I understand it's only a couple times a year, but you're still having these events where you have 50 people coming to the property and you only have 17 spots. That's in a residential area. So, I mean, it doesn't seem appropriate for that location. And I was just wondering, I know you recently purchased the property. I guess when you were, again, is there a reason why you purchased this property as opposed to finding something that fit that kind of your kind of intended use for that?
50 people is not for the 50 cars. 50 people means like the one family might have the 7 or 8 with the one minivan. That's all. We don't have like an individual don't drive it. We don't do that.
And I think that we don't have like 50 people come in at the same time either. I mean, probably like 10, 15 people come in one time, and like they stay there for an hour, 2 hours, and then they leave, and then another people come in again. Like, that kind of big celebration. We usually started from like the 10:30, like 10:30 until like 2:30 to 3 o'clock. So we have people coming in, have time to come in and like have a gap. I mean, I don't believe we have, it's not going to be the 50 people could fit in the house either.
And is there something that prevents you from having some sort of off-site, ballroom type thing for these type of events?
No, we don't have any ballroom. The people that we don't have a little small place. People in and out.
No, I'm just saying, why can't you? You have these limited events, right? There's only 2 maybe a year. Why are you choosing to have them at the residence as opposed to
She's saying we're in a space.
Well, because of the monk resident and plus with the Buddha statues is right there. That's why.
Because it has to be sacred place. We got to have to put the designated sacred place. It has a big statue there. The monk has to be there. So it's and then the house, like it has to be have to meet like some criteria to be like that sacred, to have like that kind of celebration. So we cannot just rent it out the park or any like the hall room just it just because of religious purpose.
So I guess is that how? And again, I don't necessarily know Buddhism. Is that how the temple is usually the home of the monk? Is that how it operates at all times?
Pretty much, yes. Temple is the home of the monk. Yeah, the monk lived there. Practice there. Like, that's just what we called it. So it's
Can the monk leave the house?
Yeah, the monk could leave the house. Yes, yeah, it could go out. But certain time like from October, September, they have to be stayed there. But they could leave. Yes. It's not like they
couldn't have like. Are you saying they couldn't have like a separate temple area where you would do your worship, and then he would return to the residence? It has to be.
No,
the play has to be, again, like, it has to be sacred. It has to be, like, they have to say, like,
Yeah, I understand it has to be sacred, but I'm just saying he couldn't go to another sacred place.
Well, he could, but that play has to be, like, got to meet certain criteria. So it's got to start doing every, like, the whole thing again. So, again, so we'll be like, we can't just like rent it out to any, like hall places like this. It doesn't make it a secret.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of the Buddhism is very strict. I hate to say it, but the monk can't even like nobody could stay with the monk to sleep at the place. We could go there, but we cannot stay overnight or sleep. Especially I hate to say like women. I'm so sorry. It's a gender discrimination, but it's just a religious thing. So it is certain, criteria has to be met for.
Yeah, I want to be clear. The zoning hearing board absolutely, wants to respect the Buddhist religion. I think the issue is simply, and we'll keep talking about it, but is the religious assembly aspect of this in a residential area. Regardless of
I think where I was going with my question, is there something prohibiting him from having a residence, which is perfectly fine, then having the temple situation happen at a more appropriate place? And maybe my question for renting a ballroom was a little off base, but to have some sort of temple structure where you would do the religious assembly.
Yeah, it does have create some problem with because of that we have to make this thing. Nothing is it could also like our budgeting. We'll be having one place there, and the ballroom that another place has to be rented out. So that's another thing. Because a lot of time we cannot buy another property. We could rent it out, but renting it out is it doesn't make like a lot of times the whole place don't cannot facilitate us don't meet our criteria just like this. So and a lot of the the thing that we do like the small group most of the time. So
also we don't have a big community. That's why we have a very, very small community in Philadelphia and the surrounding area. That's why we need a little small place to pray. That's all.
All right, well, we'll see if board members have questions. I know we have lots of public comment to get through on this application.
Okay, are you done, Aaron?
Yes, go ahead, Peggy.
All right, so a couple things. So the worship takes all day long and people come and are staggered. Do you have the schedule that they follow so that, 15 people come and they're there for 2 hours, and then is there like some overlap between the next group coming in?
We do arrange that, people, has to come in, they do have, we will announce that as this day, and we'll let people know that, how many people coming in, how many that, we come in, a lot of time that we do have it, yes. Yes, we had that.
So you can have like a sign-up sheet?
Yeah, we do have a sign-up sheet, yes.
Is there time in between the worship services for the first group to leave and the second group to arrive?
It depends on how many people coming in. We do try to accommodate this because, for example, we rented the property in Philadelphia. We started out, like a couple of years ago. It's a smaller place than this, so we try to accommodate like this. We try to have people coming in, some people coming in at some time, and then when these people leave, we will let another group coming in. Yes, we do have.
And there's time. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, if 15 people are there at 10 o'clock in the morning, next 15 people, are they going to come at noon so that now you have 30 people?
Yes.
Or
yes.
do they come at 12:30? So there's a half an hour there for group one to leave.
Yes, they do have, yes. Yeah, we most of the time what people come in is like 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and then around 2 o'clock, final time. So we have separate like large celebration like this. Yeah, we do divided the time frame. Yes.
And who controls the schedule?
Actually most of the time the board member will set out the schedule. These activities are planned like the few months before it. And then most of the time, we have a set month. It's not a specific day because depend on the weekend that we're looking for. So these has a specific month that we usually do it, and we plan it like at least 2-3 months ahead before that the big celebration.
And you find that your congregation is cooperative with that schedule? You don't have.
Oh yes.
I signed up for 10, but I overslept. Can I come at 2?
Most of the time we try to accommodate it. If it's 1 or 2 people, it might happen, but it won't be like all 15 people is going to be swapped out together. It probably won't happen.
Okay. Now I'm looking at the parking schematic that you sent, and it came in two separate graphics. The first, it says the back parking lot and the front parking lot. So that's the front parking lot. When I look at the property on pictures of the property, there's a front lawn. So is the front parking lot the lawn at the front of the property?
Currently it's a lawn, yes.
But is that where you're putting the front parking lot on the?
If we needed to, we could, we could put it there, but we prefer to, put everything at the back. I believe it at the back, we should have at least like the 10, with the 10 unit,
12 units.
So,
12
so
units,
what's the purpose of the drawing front parking lot?
If we needed to, it's just, we're just saying that that's just a space that we have.
We didn't have any driveways on the front. That's why we get zoning, we can put that 5 more spots is right there. That's why.
And then people would enter this part through on Maple Avenue?
That I don't know. That's they can come from because the property is corner of Marcia and then Maple. So I don't know which way the people are coming in.
Well, we kind of need to know that.
they would prefer to keep them coming off of Marshall, right?
Marshall, yeah.
Right.
Okay, and then that's one of my big concerns. That area of Marshall is extremely busy. People speed. There's a lot of accidents. So, you know, there's foliage there. Are you going to leave the foliage there or take it down, or?
If necessary, we were like somebody gonna be there, and then we will direct how to drive in, and we will tell them we want you from Maple Avenue or Marshall Street, which way the better way to, you know, do it, and then we want you to.
Well, we need to know what your plans are, because we have to look at it in terms of the impact on the community. So, you know, we're not going to make the decision for you, but we need you to make a decision how people are going to come in and out of the parking.
Because of the rears, they have the tourist spaces, probably they're coming from the Marshall Street.
Okay. Andrew, do you have something?
Yeah, I have a couple questions, comments as well. A bunch of them Peggy has addressed. So but I have serious concerns with the availability of parking on Maple and on Marshall. I am aware that there may have been a vehicle accident in the vicinity of this property due to somebody pulling out of the parking. Councilman Gwynn, can you confirm that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know that parking lot may take 12 vehicles, but I think putting 12 vehicles in the lot and then successfully pulling them out is going to be very hard considering the visibility of that hill on Marshall Road. I don't think that getting 12 vehicles in there is going to happen very easy. I mean, with some maneuvering, I'm sure that it can, or I believe that it can, but getting them out on a road like that is very hard. We had a fatal accident just about a block away. Was it a year ago now, Councilman?
I think it was not too far away from there, but
The intersection of Shadeland and Marshall.
Involved with the fire, and somebody was killed.
Yes. So I have serious concerns about that parking availability and access off of Marshall Road. And given the nature of the street, I'm not inclined to say that there should be an entrance or driveway put on Maple, although I understand the other homes do.
And I guess with follow up on Andrew's comment, like looking at that drawing again for the front parking space, are they like directly, like you would just like pull in like right at the street line? Like they're all at the street line? Or, 'cause I don't think I'm just confused as to like you would pull in each of the spots on Maple right in the front yard?
Like, are you just showing us that you could get 5 spots in the front parking lot? Is this a site plan?
It's not really a site plan, right? It's just more of a schematic drawing of a parking lot.
I just don't see how it would work parking on Maple. I mean, there's a sidewalk there. You would have to cross the sidewalk. So you really only want to have one, like a regular driveway entrance. And then I don't think you have enough room to do like a parking lot in the front yard, which wouldn't make sense anyway. Yeah, I don't understand the parking on Maple.
All right.
Yeah.
You want to start public comment?
Yeah, Mr. Councilman Gwynn.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is a corner property. Consequently, side yards are considered front yards for the purposes of the township and ruling on issues. There were some other items that I'd like to understand better. I have on occasion had an individual who was a member of the Buddhist faith. There was a person that had passed away, and making a long story short, the monk that had come out with them sat with the family, and they did 24 hours of banging a gong and their prayer service, which come 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning was not very well received by some of the residents in the immediate area. This has been a bit of an issue and a problem. Obviously, it seems that when I think it's George,
Yeah.
I believe you're the one that's mostly involved in that this was purchased, this property was purchased with the purpose of making it a temple.
No, we had the temple in Philadelphia because it doesn't affect the residents.
As I said, we have no problem with you as an individual or as an individual being in there, but we have a problem of it being converted into a, if you will, for lack of a better description, a business of the religious group meeting and having their group sessions there. That isn't what was intended by for the land use in the R1 districts.
You're talking about the plain gong. That's a totally separate. That's just a Chinese Buddhist. We are Burmese Buddhist is totally different. We are like only doing it for the meditation, quietly sit down and do. They don't do like those like a funeral thing. They bang it. We don't do that. Totally different.
I am needing an education in the differentials that these different religious groups have, and I have to broaden my own personal education in that. But I have to also deal with the laws and the setup that we have. I don't see it as an advantage to change your parking. As you say, you currently enter in off of Marshall Road, and that's just a hard place to do a lot of traffic in and out. And it's a hard place for parking to be done there. And your talk of volume of traffic, that's going to be an issue. And I think that's represented by the petitions that were received by the board of the individuals that live in that area, as well as if they aren't parking in your parking lot in the back, then they're parking on the streets where other people had expected to find and be able to use their driveways and their park area. So you're involving people from outside the community in there.
All right.
I just think it's a poor choice.
Understood, Councilman.
Those are my comments.
Thank you. Any other of the council people have any comments? Yes, Councilman Siddiq.
Any worship considered to be a commercial zone, and that worship cannot be done in residential area. And second thing, the parking. That's, I believe, it's a one-way street.
No.
Parking is a big issue too. And there's a Buddhist temple in Baltimore, Mike, and I believe I forget the street, Baltimore Pike and next to Lansdowne Avenue. There's a big church over there, the Buddhist temple over there. If they have very few congregation or very few attendees, they can merge with them, and then they can have a commercial place for their worship. That's all I have to say.
Totally different languages and totally different practice. That's why.
Councilwoman Billups, please.
I'm sorry. So are Buddhists like, do they have different, I don't know what you want to call it, but different good sex or SECT or different, different, I don't know what you call it, different religions, different versions.
Yeah, different belief and a different
Yeah.
practice.
Okay, okay. So that might not be possible to merge with another.
No, totally different. Yes.
Okay.
I want to be clear. Yeah, we don't want to interfere at all with anybody's religion. It's just really not a religious issue as much as it
Right.
is
Right,
a
right.
large group of people in a
know,
residential
but
area.
I just want to be clear about that. So okay. So the place that you want to go to is in a residential place?
Correct.
Residential area?
Yes.
Okay, okay. And it's not enough parking there?
No, there's enough. I guess the issue is people are raising whether or not it's safe enough to come off of Marshall Road.
We can manage that. We can, that special. We're talking about 50 people, maybe not even 50 people show up. That's why we're talking about maximum 50 people.
Okay.
Right. So I think 50 people, I don't know, and maybe Chris can help us on this, McSween. What is the, I guess, requirement? How much parking would they need? Because again, I understand you say they're all coming in minivans, but who's to say that they will?
I believe it's one space per 100 square foot for religious assembly, and maybe they could confirm that, but the downstairs area would be about 700 square feet. So I think they would need 7 spots if I'm correct.
Mr. McSween, what's the parking requirements for a religious assembly?
It's going to depend solely upon the square footage.
So I guess it's relatively small, so maybe the parking requirement wouldn't be that great.
But as far as 50, that's kind of a stretch.
Right. Yeah, they're saying that they have 50 people, right?
Not
Correct.
50 people at one time though, during the day. So it might be 10 people at once and 10 people later on. It's not all 50 at one time coming like a Catholic church, I guess, or a synagogue where you'd say services at 10, 50 people show up at the same time and leave at the same time. That's
Which actually may be more hazardous to the traffic condition because you have people entering and exiting at random times, whereas, I guess if you did have like a church service, everyone's kind of coming out at the same time, there's going to be some sort of mass exit at one point, but if it's randomly throughout the day, it could actually create more of a traffic concern because you don't know when they're coming out. And if those cars do travel very fast on Marshall Road, so I don't know what the sight distance is there, but I mean, I could definitely see cars pulling out being a problem.
Can I ask a question? I thought I heard him say in the beginning that
Talking?
this
Who's
is
speaking? I'm sorry, who's speaking?
This is Deborah. I'm sorry.
Deborah, our new member, Deborah Woodard. Sorry,
Yeah,
without your
I
video.
just had a question. I wanted for
Please,
clarity.
go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I just want to make sure I heard him say earlier, this is not something like, church services every Sunday. This is maybe 4 times a year?
Yes.
Or several times a year. So is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so is everyone thinking like this is a every week or once a month or several times a month occurrence? Are we
No,
keeping in mind?
Not at all.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I was clear and everyone was thinking the same way, that it's not a frequent occurrence every week. And that's what I wanted to know for clarity's sake.
No, we don't. We have like a 4 times a year. That is like depend on like a celebration. Sometimes we have to pick the weekend. everybody has a full-time job. We don't. So which week is available for that celebration, and we pick the Sunday for like 2-3 months ahead, and then we plan it.
Yes, I understand. I've actually have been to some at a temple, but I understand. I just want to make sure clarity around frequency for myself and everyone else. Thank you.
Sorry, excuse me, can I have your last name, please? Can you spell it?
Woodard, Woodard.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess I understood that it was those major events are only happening, you know, maybe twice a year, he said. But that doesn't, they're still having events throughout the year, right? You said people come in once a week.
People come every day with food.
They drop off the food for the month, and then within 15-20 minutes they leave.
So, right, you're saying they may come throughout the week, not in a large group, but to drop off, I thought it was called gifts or foods or whatever they give to the monks, and then they leave. But certain times throughout the year, there might be 2 to 4 events where there are large gatherings of maybe up to 50 people, not at one time, but coming in and out.
No, not at all. Because I told you, we don't have a big community. We have a very small community.
Okay.
I go there every Saturday because the reason I go there every Saturday, monks cannot do anything. I have to go to clean up the bathroom, everything, cut the grass. I go every Saturday. I have to.
Right.
I spend like 2 hours, cut the grass, clean out, take the trash out. That's what I do. I have to go. That's because a monk cannot do. Monks only practice religious things, and then they teach all the Buddhist things. That's all he does.
Okay. I understand that.
I guess any other, I know we had, Peter, you said we had a bunch of people sign up to make at this point.
A few. I mean, I don't want to overstate it,
Okay.
but
Well, why don't we go ahead and open
sure.
that up to anyone?
So Ann Rogers, we'll unmute. Ms. Rogers here. Let's see her screen.
I'm here.
Hi, Ms. Rogers. So you signed up for public comment. Please
I
state
did.
your name and address so the court reporter can get it, and then please let us know what you're thinking.
Certainly. Ann Rogers, ANNROGERS, 3204 Marshall Road. I am directly across the street from the residence, the home, 301 Maple. And we got together, the neighbors, when we saw the zoning notice, and we put together a petition with strong opposition to permit the mixed use of this bungalow home, which we believed was being just was a home. And now we see that there's been a lot of activity there. They have people there all the time. They only have a big group. They had a large celebration. I'm not sure when, but we just thought, wow, that's a big family. And we just thought, wow, that's a big group. But our concerns were and are the dangerous traffic issues on that corner, Maple and Marshall Road. Maple, parking is only on one side of both of those streets. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with that corner. I know a lot of people are, but the driveway that's used to exit the residence is a state highway. Marshall Road's a state highway, and they go in and out of that driveway, and it's extremely dangerous. There's already been a very serious accident with one of their residents. And according to PennDOT, they would have to involve a township engineer to order a complete traffic impact study or a crash collision report. It's also, Marshall Road's on the SEPTA line. So we have the buses up and down Marshall Road. The other issue, Kingdom Hall, which is absolutely right next door to this residence, they have, when they're in session, there's no parking, and they meet on Sundays. Now, according to the website for this Burmese Association of Philadelphia, they meet on Sundays also. So I'm thinking if they're meeting at the same time, I can't even imagine how that would work. But this is just, I'm concerned about that. The parking issue is a whole nother issue. The backyard, which had all these lovely trees and was a beautiful home. Now they took down all the trees. And I think they can fit about 8 cars. Now if they're saying 12. I've seen 8 and it looks very crowded back there. When they have like a lot of people there, that's why I see 8. Our other issue is we want to keep it as a residence. It's a beautiful home. All the homes on Maple and all around here, all residential homes, families, and they want to change this variance. And I Googled their name, and what came up was 3 Jewel Buddhist Temple, 301 North Maple, tax exemption. And I thought, is that why they're going for this variance, so that they don't have to pay the taxes in the township? Is that really the main reason? I mean, we have no problem with the religion part. We want to keep this home as a residence. It's a dangerous corner. So I thank you for listening. And we have, as I said, we went around, just a few neighbors, and every single residence we went to, they signed the petition. We had 43 people sign in 2 days, and we didn't even go any further because we wanted to get the petition in November. And I've had people knocking on my door since that saying, I hear there's, the neighbors are not happy. Thank you.
Thank
Can
you.
I interject as well, Ms. Rogers? I am also a neighbor, so
Okay.
I see the issues with traffic firsthand and parking issues firsthand all the time. I drive by that location probably every single day with no exception.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right, is John Donahue here? Mr. Donahue?
Oh, that's correct. I'm here.
Hi, sir. So please state your name and address slowly so the court reporter can get it down, and then please give us your public comment.
Sure. It's John Donahue, Donohue. I live at 305 Maple Avenue. I am the resident directly connected to 301 Maple Avenue. Just a couple concerns. First off, I know someone spoke about the fatality that occurred on Maple Avenue about a year ago. That actually occurred at that driveway. Second thing is I know that there's been some speaking about when the congregation gathers. As an extra resident, I can tell you now, it's every Saturday and Sunday. What they do during those periods, I really don't know, but I do know they do gather on Saturdays and Sundays as a group. I think everybody keeps talking about the parking lot in the backyard. It's not a parking lot. It's a grass lot. It's a residential backyard. It has not been changed into a parking lot. There may be drawings, there may be plans for it. I know George has spoken to me about some plans for the backyard. My concern is setbacks, concrete curbing. Their backyard directly is attached to my backyard. It's, for them to have 9-10 cars in the backyard on the Saturdays and Sundays that they gather, it happens on Saturdays and Sundays. If it's to be converted into a parking lot, setbacks, concrete curbing, parking blocks, one way in, one way out. The property is not designed for that. It's 90 feet deep. Half of that property is set up for a residence, for a house. So the house takes up half of that 90 feet. There's also a garage in the backyard, which is lessening even the parking in that backyard also. So everybody keeps talking about that parking lot. It's not a parking lot. It's a grass lot. There's no buffers. There's nothing there at all whatsoever. And for safety issues, The typical parking lot, water runoff, storm runoff, landscaping. I don't know if they submitted plans for any of that. This is a residential neighborhood. It's R1, it's zoned R1. All the houses here are. The house should be kept as R1 since it's a residential one community. It's not our entire block is all community of R1s. So I parking is absolutely a problem. Accidents do happen out there. Like I said, the fatality was at that driveway. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Donahue.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Kathy Huff. Ms. Huff.
Hello. Hi, my name is Kathy Huff. I live at 302 Maple Avenue, Drexel Hill, directly across the street from 301 Maple Avenue.
Thank you.
My concern is, again, the parking and the traffic and the amount of people that we have seen at the residence. We do live right behind there is the Kingdom Hall, which not only do they meet on Sunday, but they also meet Tuesday nights and Thursday nights. So we're already are deal with a parking problem.
Fix the wiper is upside down.
Yeah.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Sorry.
Your fault.
So there's issues with cars blocking our driveway so that we can't get in and out at times. There's people parked all the way up and down Maple Avenue. If we want to have company, our company has to park on Marshall Road if there's parking spots, or blocks away, because both streets, Marshall and Maple, are parking on one side. So the parking is an issue for the whole neighborhood. And we were already dealing with it with the Kingdom Hall. So I see the extra parking. And if they're going to turn the front lawn into a parking lot, that will completely change the whole landscape of Maple Avenue, which is one of the most beautiful streets anywhere. It's just a nice residential street. And to have a parking lot on the front lawn would completely change the whole neighborhood. So I'm strongly opposed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Huff.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. This is John Donahue again. I don't know if Chief Sawyer is still with us this evening. I know also there's some concern, being that it's a gathering place. Was there a fire inspection done? Was there fire alarm systems put in place since this is a gathering place? I don't know if Chief Sawyer can comment on that, if he's still online or not.
Yes, I'm still on the line. I'm not sure if there was an inspection, but if there wasn't, we can always conduct one to make sure that they have the proper alarm system and proper number of egress.
All right, thank you, Chief. Is Mark Manley here? Mark Manley also signed up to make public comment. Mr. Manley?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Please state your name and address for the court reporter, and then we'll take your public comment.
Okay, it's Mark Manley, M-A-N-L-E-Y. I'm at 3214 Marshall Road. And I also just wanted to appear in opposition to the variance that's been applied for. And I really don't feel the need to pile on, but just want to express that that opposition for the purpose of the parking restrictions that are already in place can be a nightmare whenever the Kingdom Hall services are underway, and the traffic dangers that are posed by the increase of traffic from the people who are attending the different services. It is a residential area, and we would just like to keep it residential. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manley. All right, that's the remaining people who had signed up for public comment. Is there anybody else here who would like to make public?
I do.
Oh, sure, Mr. Rogers, go ahead.
Yes.
Please state your name and your address again.
Paul Rogers, Rogers, 3204 Marshall Road in Drexel Hill. I'd just like to make a quick statement to the board, and I thank you for the opportunity to address you. Obviously, my name is Paul Rogers. I reside across Marshall Road from the property at 301 Maple. I'm the first signature on the petition submitted to the board in opposition to any variance for this property. I want to further explain our opposition to the variance requested for that property. It has come to our attention that only one permit was requested and was associated with cement and concrete work. The permit was not posted, but we as neighbors assumed it was issued for sidewalk repairs. Since then, the owners have received several deliveries of heavy construction materials to the property. We believe that construction projects were taking place both on and inside the property. No floor plans were submitted, no permits were requested or granted to the owners, and the work was being done at night and on the weekends as to avoid the Township Department of License and Inspection. With the amount of material delivered, we believe that the owners may have already made changes to the property, including the creation of a 700 square foot first floor meeting area. This work has been going on without the variance being issued, and we believe it to be illegal. We would like to request a complete inspection of the property, both inside and out, and have the results made available to the public. By completing any work on the property without the proper zoning variance, the owners have basically disrespected not only their neighbors, but also the Department of License and Inspections, the zoning board members, as well as Upper Darby Township as a whole. I don't believe that any of the board members would allow this to take place in their neighborhoods. Recently, we've been made aware, again, of the intention to pave not only the rear property, but also the front yard. This is unacceptable to us. It increases the safety concerns, but also cause unnecessary water runoff on the Marshall Road. People move here for front lawns and landscaping, not concrete and blacktop. We could go on and on with the reasons to deny the variance without knowing what the future plans are for the property. Although they only meet 3 times a year now, if the variance is granted, what's to stop them from meeting 12 times a year or 52 times a year? We would also request a PennDOT survey, being as the backyard that they propose as a parking lot only has a 1-car width driveway going into it. The rest of the property is fenced off. Sight lines on Marshall Road are terrible. So if someone's trying to leave the property and someone's trying to get in at the same time, it's only going to back up traffic on Marshall Road. That being a bus route and a state highway, we believe would be unacceptable. We already addressed the fire requirements. And even though they say there's only 50 people now, what's to say there won't be 500 next week? That's all I have. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak. We are strongly opposed to the variance being issued. Thanks for your time.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Is there anybody else who would like to make a public comment about this application? Okay.
If I may.
Sure. Please state your name and address for the record.
Is James Wilson, 3206 Marshall Road.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, we live right next to Ann and Paul Rogers, directly across from this residence. And I honestly just want to support all that's been said in opposition of this variance of the rezoning. It's a residential neighborhood, and a major part of this change is going to be traffic flow, which has been documented that's going to be a big problem to how that's going to be dealt with. And we just want to support and get on record saying that we support, not making this change.
And I guess what happens
and
if they do decide to move locations?
That's
Sorry,
right.
I need your name if you're going to speak, please.
That's okay. They were interrupting Mr. Wilson. I'll try to mute folks, but go ahead, Mr. Wilson.
Okay. And also just another point is that, there's no going back, right? There's no going back to a residence. Once this change is made, that's a permanent change to the nature of this residential neighborhood. And and another party can come in and do things with this property moving forward in the future that could also progress this away from being the residential nature that it is. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Anybody else have a public comment about this application? Okay.
Sounds like we've heard a lot about this one, and we did receive, all the petitions as well. I guess before I make a vote, I don't feel like it fits in with the character of the neighborhood. This is a residential area. It's really not designed for, this commercial use, or in this case, religious use. Obviously, being the monk's residence is perfectly fine. It's just the assembly part that I have an issue with. So I guess with that, I will make a motion to deny application 11-4 of 20.
Seconded.
Okay, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
So no no's, there's only 3 of us. So unfortunately that did not pass.
All right, Mr. McCresh, you'll get our written decision within the MPC guidelines. And again, I understand you understand how to appeal that decision.
Yes, thank you for your time. Thank you for the board and the members. And good night. I guess we're finished.
Sure. Good night, Mr. McCresh. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Good night, John.
All right, we will move on to our next application.
In December.
Yeah, well, no, we still have.
No, come on. We got one more November.
We have application 11-9.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, to be clear to all the other, our intent is to get to everybody tonight.
Yes, we are hoping to get to that. That's why I'm trying to push it. Yep. So this is application 11-9 of 19 for the Delaware. I won't read the whole section, but it's for the Delaware County Community College for a 1-year extension of their previous zoning approval.
That's correct. This is just for a 1-year extension, or sorry, they got the zoning relief they've requested, but it was more than a year ago. And so now they need an extension. They were before us last time, and we raised some issues regarding historical preservation. So I know their attorney, Mr. Caniglia, is here, and take it away.
Sure. Thanks, Peter. Nick Caniglia, that's Caniglia for the reporter. I'm representing Delaware County Community College on this matter. As was stated, this is a request for an extension. The zoning code requires getting a permit within 1 year of approval of the zoning hearing. In this instance, we had to go through the land development process, which was delayed due to COVID. We finally got the approval in September from City Council. Since that time, we've been working on resolving some of the conditions, or many of the conditions that were listed in that approval. We've actually worked through resolving most of them. We are still waiting for a couple third-party approvals, such as PennDOT and MPDES. Once we receive those approvals, we will close with the Archdiocese. Currently, we're shooting for a closing the end of January on this property. I have present with me this evening Tony DeLuca, who's the Vice President of Operations for Delaware County Community College, Gus Hauptman, who's the project engineer on this matter, and Don Main, who's the project architect on the matter. I know raised last time was concerns regarding the historical nature of this site. I think Don can address some of the items that we addressed during that period. We understand that the historical nature of the site was sensitive, and the college went to great extent to try to preserve the historical nature of the buildings, particularly the Prendergast School building. And we also have spoken to the Historical Commission and have agreed to some items that would point out the historical nature of the balance of the site also. I have submitted to Mr. Amuso exhibits 8-1, A1 through A9. A1 is the zoning approval from dated November 22nd, 2019. A2 was the grant by the township of preliminary land development approval in September of this year. A3 was my request for extension, and A4 through A9 are exhibits that the Don Main, the architect, had described, but A4 is the actual site plan of the site. One item we should note is when we went to County Council expressed a desire for us to add more green space, which we did to this site. Remove parking, agreed that if that parking was ever needed, we would add it to the parking structure and not surface parking. A5 is the Prendy building and the preservations, both interior and exterior, that the school has gone through to preserve that building. A6 is also a view of the Prendy building with the green space. And A7 and A9 are wayfinding markers that the school intends to provide on the site to indicate the existence of the carriage house and actually the mansion that was on that site as well. So Don, if you want to just go through what the school did from historical preservation nature for this site, and then talk about perhaps some of the other items we will do in the future.
Okay. Am I able
I'm
to?
going to need to swear you in. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thanks.
Am I able to share my screen with that?
Should be able to, yes.
Okay. Okay.
There you go. Great.
So as Nick said, this is the overall site plan. This is the original Prendergast building here. This is the location of the existing annex building here. And the project also includes the construction of an early learning center here along Huey Avenue. This is the parking deck that's proposed to limit the amount of surface parking on the property and allow for the counts from a zoning standpoint as well as an effective use standpoint on the property. With the project, we are improving the pedestrian way along Lansdowne Avenue. The college is widening these sidewalks, making them safer, and they're also creating a green buffer along Lansdowne Avenue as well. And I reference that because that's the location that when we discussed with Emma Deal with the PA State Historic Preservation Office, we discussed using these locations to put some of the interpretive signage that the college is proposing with the project. The project design as it relates to the original Prendergast High School, the design direction that has been proposed is in keeping with the Secretary of the Interior standards for historic places. On the original building, we are not altering the building. We are preserving the original structure and using similar materials to repair and preserve that original building. The additions that are proposed to the building are proposed in a way that they are distinct from the original building, which also is in keeping with the Secretary of the Interior standards. The standards say that we shouldn't try to duplicate any of a historic structure. Additions should complement those structures in their massing and scale and allow someone to understand what the original building structure is, clearly understand the original building structure in relation to contemporary additions. This piece that you're seeing here is a glass stair tower that's proposed, and this is on the Lansdowne side of the building. This is proposed to be transparent so that you're able to see back to the original building through this addition. So this west facade will be repaired and preserved within this glass box. And then the annex construction that you're seeing here to the north is proposed to be constructed of materials, similar materials to the original building so that the two buildings complement each other, but this building does not directly copy this building, again, in keeping with the Secretary of the Interior standards. This is the view from the north, looking back at the original building, again, using that same treatment here with the other entry point that's proposed to the building. And you can see the annex construction here and the original building here. With both of these additions, the idea as well is that these will glow at night. So, and the building will be lit at night so that you'll be able to see back to the original building through these structures, and also that they'll serve as welcoming entry points to the building, reflect the activity in the building, and that it's a vibrant site. In our review comments that we received from the State Museum Commission, we discussed with the buildings that are coming down, that we discussed putting interpretive signage, and this is a project that we did several years back. These are example photographs from a project that we did in Gettysburg. This is Seminary Ridge, which is has the old dorm building, which was a building that was used as a hospital during the Battle of Gettysburg. And so the project here was included the installation of these placards, or these wayfinding placards, that describe the history of the site. These placards describe existing features that are on the site. This is the old dorm building that's there and the history of some of those buildings. So at the Upper Darby site, references could be made to, or historical markers could be there with the original Prendergast building to describe its history as orphanage and school, to its current use for the college. And these markers also describe events or historical features of the site that are no longer there. But the placement of these wayfinding signs is so that they align with the historic view sheds on the property. So they give a visitor to the site, or somebody walking by, the sense of what that site was, or in past uses. And in our conversations with the official from the state, we talked about the opportunity here with the site, with the amount of pedestrian traffic that we have along Lansdowne Avenue, with the fact that we have the SEPTA, but both bus and trolley stations down below, that we would be able to, we would think about this entire corridor from Huey all the way down to Garrett as opportunities for these markers to describe the history of this site within the community.
Are there any questions for Don? I would next have Gus, the project engineer, testify. If there's no questions for Don, or you want to.
Any questions for Mr. Main, or certainly at the end we can ask questions too. You prefer. All right, why don't you just put your witnesses on, and then if there's any questions, or whatever the relevant witnesses can ask the question or answer the question.
Gus? Gus, are you on?
I am now.
Okay.
Sorry.
Gus,
I'm sorry, if you could raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Gus, you're a registered Pennsylvania engineer,
Correct.
and you're the project engineer for this site.
Correct.
After the zoning approval, what did you need to do as far as land development was concerned?
Well, after the zoning approval, we needed to develop full land development, full subdivision and land development plans for the application. The zoning was approved back in November of 2019. From November of 2019 up until February, when we submitted the plans for subdivision land development, extensive design work was done through that period to allow us to make the application to the township.
And once that was done, did it first proceed to Delaware County Planning Commission?
Yes, when we filed the application with the township, in accordance with the Act 247 review requirement for Delaware County, the plans were also filed with the county for review.
And actually, for Upper Darby, the County Planning Commission acts as the Upper Darby Planning Commission as well. Is that
correct?
And was there a problem initially with the review of those plans by Delaware County due to COVID?
Yeah, there was the plans were submitted in February. COVID hit with a vengeance, as we all know, back in a month later, mid-March, late March. Delaware County was actually shut down for a number of weeks. It had been a month or even more than a month. They were shut down, weren't doing anything. That held up the project. There was also the change in regimes at Upper Darby, getting the new township engineer on board. I think that also delayed some of the reviews also. I mean, not to the detriment of the township engineer, it was just the transition period between the old regime and the new regime that, took some time to get everybody on board and get the reviews, happening again.
And eventually, as we had stated earlier, the council wanted some more green space, and that was provided in this plan.
Yes, that was actually even before we received the official township engineer review. We spent several weeks coordinating with the mayor, with township engineer. There was some. It was expressed to us that the township wanted to see much more green area associated with the plans. Originally, we developed the plans in full compliance with the parking regulations of Upper Darby Township, applying the parking standards to the uses of the property. 508 parking spaces were required for the various uses at the property. The first set of plans presented 508 parking spaces, but again, with the additional or with the required parking spaces, a lot of the green area shown on this plan was actually paved area. So in working with the township officers, we revised the plans for more green area. And that was, again, that was before we even actually had the official review by the township engineer.
And eventually, the plan was approved. And after the plan was approved, what did you have to do?
Once the plan was approved, then we had to work on the addressing the comments of that received from Delaware County, from the township engineer. We also received a stormwater management review from Catania Engineering Associates. We had to address those comments, work all those changes into the plans, and then also apply for third-party permits that you had referenced previously, the NPDS. And we have a sub-consultant that's actually doing the traffic design for the new intersection. It was mainly addressing the comments and moving forward with third-party permits.
Were there issues and are there issues with preserving the carriage house, the former carriage house?
Yes, the carriage house on the plan shown on the page currently, the carriage house is located. I'll say immediately across the access drive from the parking garage, right where Don is circling there. The grading is problematic. When we looked at the carriage house location in relation to the proposed land development at the property, grading was an issue around the carriage house. The carriage house would also upset parking area, dedicated parking spaces that we have provided, further reducing the parking at the property. And it would also preclude entrance, that first entrance as you come in from Lansdowne Avenue, that entrance into the main parking area would be, that's the exact location of where the carriage house is. So we would lose that access point to all those parking spaces. So even considering keeping the carriage house, we would have to make extensive plan revisions to allow that to happen. And at this point in time, with the schedule the way it is, it'd be very problematic because, in my opinion, keeping the carriage house may force the application back to ground zero, where we'd have to come back to the township, represent, get our approvals up to date, get our plans up to date, and then go for our third-party permits, which we're currently doing. We'd have to change those as well, go back in for the third-party permits. So it would almost be starting from ground zero with trying to maintain that carriage house where the application currently is now.
We would have to start the process all over again?
We may. I mean, it would certainly be a major revision to the plans. A number of parking spaces would be removed. We may have to change some of the access associated with the driveway off Lansdowne Avenue in order to keep the carriage house. So it would be major changes that we may have to be forced back in to the reviewing agencies, at the township, NPDS, the Conservation District, as well as PennDOT, to start those approvals all over again.
Okay, thanks. Tony, are you there? Tony DeLuca?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Tony, what's your position with the school?
Associate
I'm
Vice
sorry, I
President.
need to swear him in.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thanks.
Tony DeLuca, Associate Vice President, Facilities for Delaware County Community College.
And Tony, you've been involved in this project from the very beginning.
I have, yes.
When do we anticipate closing on this project?
The agreement we have with the Archdiocese is the end of January, so that's coming up very quickly.
And are we working through the conditions in order to try to meet that closing?
We are. We're trying to get the final applications in and final approval from PennDOT so we can complete the project.
What would be the effect if we had to start this process all over again?
Obviously, that would put us way behind. We would lose time, as Gus said. We would have to start over again with the site plans. We don't have that time, considering where we are with the project currently, which is near completion. Also, the cost factor involved in starting over again. It's not something the college would want to take on at the moment.
Would it jeopardize the whole deal?
It could compromise it. It could compromise things with the Archdiocese, yes.
Is this site important to the school to put a satellite campus on?
This site is very important to the school. I mean, we found that a lot of our students come from this end of the county. And that's one of the reasons that we do have 2 satellite campuses out in this area, one in Sharon Hill and one in Upper Darby. But unfortunately, they can't house all the programs that we like. So by building a standalone campus, we're able to consolidate those 2 centers here and provide full services for our students.
Okay, thank you, Tony.
You're welcome.
That's all I have at this time. I would request that the exhibits A1 to A9 be made part of the record. And also,
So admitted.
if we can incorporate, I assume it's already incorporated, but the record from the actual zoning hearing also.
You mean from a year ago? Sure, we can incorporate.
Thank you.
All right, any questions from the board?
No,
Okay.
I have none. Nope.
Any comments from the public? No one signed up to talk about this extension. Any more comments from the public? Going once. Oh, Councilman Gwynn, go ahead, please.
I'd like to thank the board for allowing me to speak, but I think the project is a great idea and will help the township a lot. I'm in favor of it. That I'll try to keep it short now.
It's all right. Thank you, Councilman Gwynn. Any other public comment? All right, doesn't seem to be any other public comment.
All right, I will make a motion to approve, I guess, the extension for application 11-9 of
So it's a 1-year extension, Madam Chair.
1 year extension. Yes, sorry. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? No one. All right, the motion passes.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Holidays, everyone.
You too.
So we are finally on to December. again.
Wow, December.
New applications. Thank you for sticking with us, everyone. We had a very long meeting last month and didn't even get to any of, I don't think we got to any of the November ones.
Right.
So we were very far behind. So hopefully we'll be all caught up at the end of this. So let's go into application 12-1 of 20. Application for, I'm gonna butcher the name, but I'll say Mr. Victor for a special exception to allow allow property to be used as a commercial, or excuse me, as a community residence for people with intellectual disabilities who have been residing in Delaware County. It's situated at 6707 Montgomery Avenue in Upper Darby.
Mr. Victor here.
It's actually a lady. It's Miss Miss
Oh,
Balogun.
we apologize for that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's a compound name.
Yes. So, Ms. Victor, you're not represented by counsel, correct?
No.
Okay. So why don't you tell us what zoning relief you're looking for?
Should I swear her in?
Oh, please. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And can you say your full name and spell it for the record, please?
Olufumilayo Balogun Victor.
You mind spelling that for me?
OLUFUNMILAYO. That's my first name. Then my last name, BALOGUN-Victor.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Victor, what kind of zoning relief you're looking for here?
I want to operate a 2-bedroom residential facility from 6707 Montgomery Avenue. I have a business, it's called Divine Support Services, and we provide services for individuals with intellectual disability. So I'm looking to expand, and the neighborhood is quiet, it's nice, and I just believe it's going to be a very good neighborhood for the people that we serve.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. You know, you're applying for something called a special exception, which has certain rules and regulations for it. So your application is just the 1 page and then your agreement of sale, correct?
Yes.
All right. So, I mean, have you gotten licensed from the state?
Yeah, the business is licensed. I have a group home already, but I use an apartment complex. But I'm interested in getting a house this time around. Yeah, I was licensed 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yes.
So is your intent to close down that location and move things here, or you're just expanding your operations?
Expanding. We're looking to get 2 individuals who live in Delaware County. When we have referrals from people in Delaware County, their parents don't want them to move out of the county. They want them to live, still continue to, and family members, they prefer that they still live within the county, so.
And I'm sorry, is your other location in the county? I missed that.
Yes, it's
Okay, fine.
New Orleans apartment next to the Ridley Y.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so our zoning code has a section 1005 called group living quarters. And it requires operations like this to meet 9 requirements. Are you familiar with those standards?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So, I mean, my suggestion is that you become familiar with those standards and just provide us evidence that you've met those standards. And Mr. McSween, are you still here? I thought I saw him. No. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
So can you contact Ms. Victor and just provide her with the relevant zoning code that has for the special exceptions for this types of operation?
Sure.
Okay. And then my recommendation is that, you know, you work to get us that evidence that you meet those standards of the special exception, and we can consider you at our next meeting.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. We'll hold it over and conduct our next hearing on January 21st on that application.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right, we will move on to application 12-2. Application for Sarita Gilliam for a variance for relief from Article 3, Section 301 to allow property to be used as a banquet facility with additional relief from Article 8, Section 801 for off-street parking requirements the property is situated at 7914 Westchester Pike in Upper Darby.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm sorry, I apologize. Well, there were people who wanted to speak, I think, on that last application.
Okay.
We're holding it over. I don't know if they left. I mean, we'll certainly take, oh, yes, Ms. Blackwell.
Sorry to interrupt. Councilwoman Billups is trying to get on.
Oh, geez. Thank you. So I apologize for anyone who was waiting to make comment on that last application. We're holding it over. We'll take public comment next time, or if you have written public comment,
Okay.
please feel free to submit.
Thank you.
We'll add it to the record. Okay, sorry about that, Madam Chair. Go ahead. Is Ms. Gilliam here? I see a screen name. Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. You're not represented by counsel, correct?
No, I'm not.
Okay. And
Should I swear in?
yes, please, thanks.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So tell us what you're looking to do here, Ms. Gilliam.
I'm looking just to have an open space where I can have small events. Nothing would exceed like more than 50 people. You can host business meetings, just different type of meetings where it'll be just open. In the future, when everything eventually open back up, I would like to host a job fair in there to open back up where a lot of small businesses can start looking for employment and just, you know, helping the community and getting everybody back on the right track.
Okay. What is this? Is this the property you own now, or what's currently in the?
It's under contract pending the variance.
Okay. What's there now?
It was an old karate studio. So right now it's just vacant. Nothing is there.
Okay. And then you got a letter from Hellenic Alliance LLC.
Yes, for the additional parking.
Okay. Mr. McSween, how much parking does Ms. Gilliam need for this location?
All parking spaces, there's currently 5.
So
So
she
that
needs,
means,
she needs 12 and there are 5?
that's correct.
Okay. And how much are located at the property next door, do you know?
8.
Okay. Is that right, Mr. McSween? Do we know?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, what questions do the board members have?
Like, I guess, can you go into a little bit more of the use of the banquet center? I know you said you were looking to have job fairs or?
Not just for job fairs. It pretty much could be open for board meetings. It could be open for small venue spaces. Like I said, right now, it would, of course, be under 50 people. It could be used for if someone needed it, as far as like, I know the daycare had said if they needed it to come over and do like a small study group or something like that, they would use it for that. It would just be an open space.
And what's the space used for right now?
It was an old karate studio.
Okay, sorry, I missed that.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other board members have questions?
Yeah, I saw the letter that you're allowed to have access to the property, the parking lot. And I know you said there are 8 spots. Do you have access to all 8? And what hours would you be hosting these events?
He said anytime during the week after 6 and on the weekend is available.
Okay, all right. And is that the primary hours? Is that when you'd be hosting events, or are you open to other hours?
I'm open to other hours, but the events that, like I said, would be more than, that would be like closer to 50 people, of course, would be on the weekends and after 6 o'clock.
Okay,
But like small study groups or like a business meeting, of course, wouldn't need that much parking.
sure.
Okay. Any public comment? Any of the council people or any other members of the public? I'll check my list. There was nobody signed up on this application. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is a commercial use property. It's kind of still staying a commercial use property, so I don't necessarily have any issues with it. So, I mean, I would make a motion to approve application 12-2 of 20. Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have 3 ayes, no noes. Any noes? No noes. The motion passes, or the application passes.
Great.
Okay. So we are on to application 12-3 of 20.
Thank you, guys. Good evening.
Oh, hi. Good. Just let the chair announce it and we'll get right to you, man.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, Ms. Gilliam, you're welcome. Yes. Have a good night.
Okay. Take care.
Have a good night.
Okay, we have application 12-3 of 20 for a variance for relief from Article 3, Section 301, to allow second floor of the property be used as a residential space at 7107 Westchester Pike.
All right, Ms. Okereke, are you here?
Yeah, good evening.
Oh, sorry. Jeez. Apologize for that. You're not represented by counsel, correct?
No.
All right, if the court reporter could swear Mr. Okereke in, please.
Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. Sir, what would you like to do here?
Yeah, this a property acquired in 2019, and then gradually it was renovated. The first floor is being used as an office, which is what is properly zoned for. When we acquired the property, there were people living in the second floor. So we still continued to use it as a residential until the last recent inspection. And then I got a letter that is not zoned for residential in the second floor. So that's why I have applied, since there are tenants living in there, if the board could allow them to continue, and then if the approval for the first floor to be continued to be used as an office, and then the second floor as residential.
Okay. So when you bought the property, people were already living upstairs?
There were no people living, but when we went in to renovate, we found out beds and things that proved that people were living in there.
Okay. How old is the property?
Sorry, sir?
How old is the property?
It was built around 1930 or 45, I am not quite sure.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the board?
I mean, I think this one is simple as well. So you're not proposing to make any changes, correct? It's just
No changes.
no changes, yeah. So, yeah, I have no questions.
Yeah, this seems to be the intent when it was constructed, to have commercial on the first floor and residential above. So it's just a continuation of the original use.
Exactly.
And just out of interest, it's already an apartment now? I'm looking at the pictures. It looked like it.
Yes, there are people inside the apartment now.
Okay.
All right, I think Mr. Councilwoman or Councilman Gwynn, I wanted to make a comment. Oh, and the fire chief's waving too. Actually, real quick, let's hear from the fire chief. Chief Sawyer, what would you like to say?
So if this is a mixed use with business on the first floor and residential on the second floor, my question is, does it have a fire alarm system?
Yeah, the inspector, during the inspection, these things were found out and written to me, and work is going on progress to fix all those things that the inspection pointed out.
Does it have a fire alarm system?
Yes.
Okay, but it's not working?
I've not been there because of some recent family issues to confirm it, but I can do that by Monday.
All right, we need, if it's going to be mixed use, it has to have a fire alarm system.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I think you won't get the right permit until you show that. Councilwoman Gwynn.
I just wanted to make sure that he did have the inspections and that he checked with the fire chief to make sure everything was in compliance. That was my principal concern. And also to make sure that he knows how his trash is being picked up and pay his taxes accordingly.
Yes, the people living there now, they bring out their trash at the appointed time, and the taxes are all up to date.
A lot of times things are just piled into the back cement concrete pad areas that are back there, and it's not really intended for that purpose.
Yeah, the issue I have there, which I have written to the health department, is some of the neighbors that do pizza business, they park most of their empty boxes on our own side because the tenants just use the front. The office guy closes by 4. I think I've made an official report to the health department. But for my own particular property, the backyard is very neat and clear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Is there any other public comments? Let me see something.
I have one question. Do we also have to give grant variance for parking?
It's on this application, Mr. McSween, do you know there's a variance for parking involved?
Do you have a vehicle?
Myself?
Mhm.
Yes, I do, but I don't live there. There are meters in front of the house along the street. There are parking meters. So whoever parks in the front of the house has to pay.
Is there parking in the back?
No, front of the building, where there are meters.
Mr. McSween, is there a parking variance that's needed here? What's in the ad or the?
It's not requesting one. Yeah.
Not requesting one, but it would,
No, it's just, if I don't want to see him have to come in
there's
here.
no off-street parking.
So all right, what do we do? So does Mr. Okereke need to ask for that variance as well, or no?
No.
Well, I'm sure you can, but Mr. McSween.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't need to ask.
Oh, he doesn't need, great.
Okay, all right, good.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? No. Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve application 1203 of 20 with the standard conditions. I think I forgot that in the last couple, with standard conditions.
Second.
Sorry, can I get?
I'll let Peggy's got this
Fall
one.
asleep here.
Sorry, Peggy.
Yeah. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All right, no no's. Motion passes.
And now our final application of the year. Oh, no, we have a special meeting next week. Sorry. But-
All right, thank you very much.
All right.
You're welcome, Mr. Okereke. Thank you for your patience, for sticking around.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so we have, for our final application, again, thank you for staying with us. This is application 1204-4 of 20, application for Rosemary and Brian Kennedy for variance for relief from Article 10, Section 1001-C to allow construction of a 5-foot fence in the front yard situated at 243 Winwood Avenue in Lansdowne.
Mr. Kennedy. I can see you. You're set. Mr. Kennedy. Brian Kennedy, I can see you. Can you hear us? Okay. I can see Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy? Brian Kennedy.
I wonder if he has us muted.
Yeah, he must.
Yeah.
Mr. Kennedy?
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
You okay?
Yeah, write them in chat.
Yeah. Can't get it.
Can you read that? Nope, you can't read it.
What's going on?
Don't leave a message in chat.
This is the first.
I have to write that backwards and I can't do that.
No, I remember. I see it fine. Let me try the chat.
You're on.
His phone number is on the application. You want me to call him?
Can we just deny it? I'm just kidding.
We want you.
Brian,
You.
how he's looking?
Just trying to read the note.
I can't do it. I've never seen it.
I think he was not connected to the audio is what was going on.
Oh,
He was
okay.
Probably,
But he wasn't trying to talk though. Brian?
Can you hear us?
Oh,
There you go.
Okay.
Now he's not
Oh,
muted.
good. Now unmute yourself. You're muted.
You have to unmute.
Can you unmute yourself?
Click down the bottom left.
Wait. Maybe I can do it. Maybe I can do it. Unmute.
I
No,
think
won't
he has
unmute.
to do it.
Oh, no, wait. I pressed it.
I
Wait.
think he has to do it because he
You
muted.
there?
There we
Hi,
go.
yay.
Okay, hey.
You all right?
Yeah, this is new. This is something new to me right now.
Okay. All right, Mr. Kennedy. So you
Yes.
don't have an attorney. But let's swear you in.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, tell us what you want to do.
Okay, so I have a stockade fence at my house. And it's 5 feet all the way around from Houston Avenue to my on my lawn to Wynwood Avenue, and it goes up my lawn on the front of Wynwood Avenue, and it wraps all the way around to my house. Standard level. It's a secured enclosure. I have 2 pit bulls who are a little bigger than standard size dogs, and everything that I have there is, it's a secured and controlled environment. They cannot see over. They cannot put their paws up on top, and they cannot see anything that's going around them outside of the house. So, that's what I have right now. And everything, where I work for Upper Darby School District. I work for a security department up at Upper Darby High School. So my hours are long, and my parents who live here have multiple medical issues. So during the day, they let them out, and everything is, it's safe for them. It's safe for everybody outside of my house, that nothing could happen and would happen.
I'm sorry. So so you currently have this fence and you want to do something different with the fence, or the fence itself needs variance, or what's going on?
The fence needs variance. It's 1 foot over the variance right now. So I'm asking for the variance to be from, I have 5 foot right now, and I know the variance is 4 foot. I'm looking for the variance to be 5 foot for my fence, so everything could be safe, controlled. It's enclosed environment, and nothing can happen, where my dogs could get out, could jump the fence, could harm somebody else. And they're not violent dogs, but you just never know. People in the neighborhood, there's a lot of kids in the neighborhood. There's a lot of traffic down Houston Road that people walk by. I have signs up on my fence. I have a mailbox for the mailman over my fence where he comes up to my house. So everything is basically controlled on my end.
Okay. Mr. McSween, what are the rules for fencing in this zone?
4 foot,
4 foot?
4 foot at the front of the property.
Is there any like setback requirements or anything for fencing?
As far as accessory structures, it would be 3 feet from lot lines.
Okay. Where is this fence?
Ours is located at the front of the property.
I mean, is it right on the property line? Is it set back?
I believe it's on the property line.
So they need a waiver of the setback requirements too?
He would need an adjustment for that as well.
So what's been advertised?
It's not advertised.
Yeah. 10,000. So yeah, you applied for a fence height. I'm looking at,
Isn't this a corner property?
is it a corner property, Mr. Kennedy?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So that's the other thing.
What other thing?
Corner properties have, the side is considered the front, the other front of the property. He can't put a fence in that goes up beyond the back of his house, I believe it is.
Right.
It's only in the front of my lawn, and it doesn't restrict anything for the street on Wynwood or Houston. You can see the front of my house. You can see the address of my house. You can see the front door, stop signs. Everything is very well in everyone's hindsight.
How far is it set back?
So
fence from the property for the walking area, sight lines of, let's say, cars that are coming up and turning down.
If you're on Houston Avenue or Houston Road and you're coming up to Wynwood, you can see the stop sign. You can see the corner spot where you cannot park. There's a sign from my corner to, I believe it's 8 feet from the sign where it says no parking. So you can see that parking spot. And when you're coming up Wynwood Avenue, you can see the cars coming from, I believe, the 4th house in on Houston Road. So everything is basically in hindsight of drivers, walkers. There's signs up, and the fence in front of my house actually goes up my lawn. I believe it's a foot up on my lawn, and it's a 6-inch height rise onto my lawn. As you can see in the photos that I took and presented.
Okay, don't have access.
I have a question. So the fence is new? Did you just put the fence up? And
the
without
fence
permit,
was,
or did you
say that again, please?
Did you put the fence up and not have the proper permit, and then, someone found out that you had the fence? Like, how did the?
Well, there was discussions of putting the fence up, and I called the township and I sent an email to Mr. McSween, and I guess the field agent came out to my house and saw it, and I sent all that to him. And there was a 3-week to basically a month gap that I didn't put it up until right after Halloween that I put it up.
Yeah, but
No
did you get
response.
permission? Mr. McSween, what did he, was
Get
there?
a permit approval? Or he
Oh,
just-
there's for 4 feet there is an approval, but no, there wasn't approval. But for 5 he would have to get permits.
Okay.
All right. So I don't understand. Mr. Kennedy, what did you write to the township that said what? I'm putting up a 5-foot fence, or I'm putting up a
I sent an email out, and I wanted to discuss I seen what the height requirements were, and I have, like I said, I have 2 bigger dogs rather than they be like poodles or chihuahuas that would acquire a 4-foot fence. But with my dogs, who are not aggressive, they're not violent, they're just bigger dogs that could actually clear a 4-foot fence. That would be an issue if they happen to get out and something would happen. Then, with having a 4-foot fence, it would definitely be an issue for anyone outside if they were provoked, if it was, just something that was uncontrolled on my end. So I tried to keep everything controlled and a secure enclosure with having the 5-foot fence, which I was asking for a variance of a foot higher than what is allowed.
I hear you,
yes,
but
why did you put the fence up prior to getting the approval for it?
Because at the time that someone was putting the fence up, I put the request out in the beginning of October, and it was a month that I didn't get no response. And with me going back to work, you know, with my hours, it was we ordered the fence a month after the request was put out there, and the company that was putting the fence up was only able to put it up at that time. So I did my legwork, and I knew what was going on, and I knew probably at some point that I would have to talk about it. So I figured with putting that fence up, I would be able to ask for the variance at this time if someone was, saw it or,
so
put a call in.
I mean, that's not really how it works, right? I mean, the point is you apply, you come to us and you say, hey, I've got these big dogs. Here's why I need a variance to do something. We look at it, really around the house doesn't look great, but maybe we could do something. And then we say, yes, now you are permitted to do this. Go ahead and do it.
Well,
it doesn't make sense to go do it and then say, oh, hey, give me permission to do it.
And I understand that, and I'm unaware of, I know how it works, but I was unaware of trying to do this at the proper time before the winter hit, because of the company that I went for was giving me the time frame, and on me, like I said, I apologize. I wanted to do it, and I put the work in beforehand, and I was hoping to get a response within a few days, maybe a week, and I never got it. And I reached out, and I called the township office and spoke to the secretary, and all I got was an email address, and that was all I was able to work with.
I mean, we have a website. It's pretty clear how to apply for a zoning variance. So, Mr. Brooks, I'm just trying to figure out, so there are also setback requirements because the fence is considered a accessory structure?
Yes, as an accessory structure, there will be a setback requirement. There will be approximately 3 feet.
Okay. And this fence doesn't meet that requirement either?
I haven't physically seen it, but if it's not 3 feet, then you would need that additional variance.
Any other comments, I guess? I mean, I would like to know exactly, like, we don't want to, if we give you one approval and then you still fail on another approval, it seems like you should know exactly what you're applying for and then apply for that. All of the conditions, not just the fence in the front yard.
Could we have somebody go out and look
Sure.
at it and,
Why would we do that?
evaluate?
I would also like to know what the site distance is, because I think Councilman Gwynn pointed that out. If there's any site distance issues, that could be a problem. If we approve a fence and you can't see, or someone pulls out, they could get hit because they can't see around your fence.
Well,
right.
the stop signs on my corner are 6 feet high, and it's directly on my corner, and it's on the opposite side of Houston Road. And the one on Houston Road, I believe, is 5 foot high, and there's multiple cars that park there by the stop
I'm
sign.
not saying that you can't see the stop sign. What I'm saying is you can't see the car, right? So if the car is pulling up to the stop sign and then pulling out onto Houston, your fence may block someone traveling whatever the other road is on, I guess, Wynwood, or the opposite way around. They wouldn't be able to see because of your fence.
So the fence on Houston comes up to, I believe, about 6 feet before the stop sign is, and it comes up my lawn. So it's not going directly around the sidewalk where the lawn and the sidewalk meet. It's actually coming up on my lawn on Wynwood Avenue. So it's coming up about, I believe, 1.5 feet onto my lawn. So, and the fence gets lower at that point, as you can see in the pictures that I presented. And then it wraps around up to my walkway, more so onto my lawn.
All right. I mean, it sounds like the board would like, first of all, to figure out what exactly variances you need. Maybe Mr. McSween, can you go out to the property and kind of take a look at it and say,
I'll go out and take some measurements.
yeah, take some, what variance does Mr. Kennedy need? And then we can decide at the next meeting, are we going to approve that? Or we're going to disapprove it and he has to take the fence down or move it or something like that. So it sounds like we want to hold this one over to get some more information.
Okay.
All right. All right. If anybody here has any comments about this fence? Okay. All right. Well, with the chair's permission, Mr. Kennedy, we'll hold this over to our next meeting, and Mr. McSween will go out and visit your site and just figure out what variances you need and I guess, what do we need as far as the stop signs and the sight lines go? I mean,
I'll have to look it up to make sure it's the proper angles. So
Okay.
I'll use that as well.
yeah, if you could let us know, Mr. McSween, that'd be great. All right, Mr. Kennedy, so our next meeting is January 21st, but in the meantime, Mr. McSween will go out and visit you, and we'll have all the information we need to make a decision at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Great. So that's our last agenda item. So we caught up.
We did. If I just want to, I mean, not to interrupt, but we do have a special meeting
Yes.
on this coming Tuesday, December 22nd, to consider an application regarding the Drexel Line project. And that's a special hearing. So that starts at 7 p.m. on the 22nd. That's the only one we'll be hearing, but that'll be our next meeting.
All right.
All right. We'll see you all then.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you all.
Good night.
Motion to adjourn.
Congratulations on getting caught up.
I'll second that motion, Aaron, if that's a motion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Aye.
Aye.
See you Tuesday.
You're adjourned.
Aaron's a nay, but we'll cancel. We win.
All right.
See y'all
Right.
Tuesday.
Thank you.
Good
Have a
night.
good night.
Good night. Finally go to sleep.
Good night.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night.